Today I am gleaning from the words of Ellen G. White. She says, the greatest want of the world is the want of men. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Here I can change the men to women or probably leaders. So the greatest want of the world is the want of leaders. Leaders who will not be bought or sold. Leaders who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Leaders who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Leaders whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. Leaders whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. Leaders who will stand for the right though the heavens fall. And so many of you want to be leaders. Indeed, we need leaders. Many are putting themselves up for leaders. Indeed, we need them. They are asking us for our endorsement. Look out for leaders who will stand for the right though the heavens fall. And if you're putting yourself up for leadership roles, be sure that you will stand up for the right though the heavens fall. Oh, how dearly we need such leaders. Business Sense brought to you by ADB. That was Business Sense brought to you by ADB. ADB says if you're a paid employee or salaried worker, you need a personal loan to resolve your financial issues. ADB is offering you a variety of personal loans, including top-up loans at significantly reduced interest rates. You will also enjoy a longer tenure of up to 6 years. This offer is open to non-customers as well, so kindly visit the nearest branch or call 0302 210 or 0302-224-043 for further inquiries. ADB is the People's Bank. ADB is truly a great and more. So much more on your favorite breakfast show this morning. Newspaper review coming up shortly. We bring you the business edition and have incisive conversations, information that will shape your world and enhance your leadership as well. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
We understand the excitement and preparations that comes when your child gains admission into senior high school. But we at the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB PLC, also understand the financial burden this comes with. The top box, trunk, school mattress, you name it. That's why we have partnered with Prospectus Ghana Limited to offer financial support for parents by introducing the ADB Quick Purchase. With a smart loan of up to 20,000 Ghana cedis, you can pick up all the items on your child's prospectus for school. ADB PLC offers you a repayment plan of 12 months to relieve you of all that heavy financial burden. Every ADB customer who receives their salaries through the bank, military and police personnel, and all other workers on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll qualify for this facility. Walk into any ADB branch nationwide or any Prospectus Ghana Limited office near you to apply for the ADB Quick Purchase. Terms and conditions apply. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, truly a quick and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Up in the morning, and you know the money calling. Oh, you go work, but you know it's I on your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's I on your side. And when you dream, no say I live by you. And when you hustle every day, anywhere I go, everything you do. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I on your side, fidelity.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation.
Your way shortly. We're told that William Ruto has sacked all his cabinet following the protest of the young people in Kenya. Elsewhere, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama expressing concern over Joe Biden. But back home, there's a lot going on. We'll be bringing you all that shortly. But the newspaper review is brought to you by Total Excellium. If you've heard about the incredible benefits of Excellium from Total Energies, it is what it is. Let me tell you more about it. It's premium fuel with an amazing 3-in-1 power. Total Energies introduces Excellium new formula, the addictive and rich fuel with its powerful 3-in-1 action that cleans your engine, extends its life, and lowers your fuel consumption thanks to the cumulative effect of its anti-corrosion, anti-wear, and detergent additives. Excellium new formula also lowers your vehicle's fuel consumption while reducing CO2 emissions. You will drive sad. Experience the difference with Total Energies Excellium with new formula. Choose Excellium, choose quality. And the Pan-African payment settlement system PAPS is now live at Fidelity Bank. Imagine sending money to your loved ones or business partners across Africa instantly and in Ghana cities. Look, don't wait for days for transactions to clear. No more expensive fees, just fast, secure and affordable payments. PAPS is here and Fidelity Bank makes sending money through PAPS easy. So visit any of our branches, start sending money across Africa instantly, securely and affordably to Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone. Fidelity Bank, believe with us. It's time for the newspaper review, people.
Yeah, man.
Good morning, Nathan Crown.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Richard De La Sky.
Good morning.
Yeah, there's energy in the system. There's energy in the system.
Yeah, telling me so. Today is Friday.
It is Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Why
they are saying?
The weekend actually they happy. We
They
they go bottom, I know so.
Oh yeah.
They are going to swim.
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
Like sharks.
Yes. And dolphins.
Yes.
On the move. Yeah.
The Ghanaian Times is looking really clean.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they've gotten some new print.
And how heavy is it though?
Oh no, not so heavy.
Okay,
but
cool.
I mean the
front page print.
Yes, pristine.
Yeah. In fact, if you go to the inside pages, it looks like
it's really nice.
The
print is clean.
Is happening there, and I celebrate Dave Agbenu and the team there. Great effort. It's looking really clean.
But what is it inside?
Yes. So the Ghanaian Times says this morning, nationwide strike action. Clocksack defies NLC as dispute paralyzes public offices across the country. Also on the front page this morning, GBC not only committed to government. Professor Al Hassan speaking here on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Also this tragedy in the lithium area. We're told that there's something new that's happening. Ghana Lithium Discovery boost for electric vehicle market. Yesterday, some disturbing story from that part of the industry. And then also we're told that agri sector is leading efforts to feed growing population. This is the Minister for Agriculture, Brian Achiampong.
The Daily Guide says, let's debate economy mano a mano. Baumia dares Mahama. Western region chiefs extol Napo. A vote for NPP is a vote for your future. And 2.37 million euro case. Jakba subpoenas speaker. Plus Mahama in Russia for support.
Oh, let me take you to the new finder. Mofa shares PFJ 2.0 inputs. The first 200,000 to register under GAP to receive grants. Also on the front page this morning, Dr. Baumia boasts of better achievements up north than Mahama. Also, DBG to channel 1.4 billion Ghana cedis to SMEs. IFC to provide $400 million comes with a smiling Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. And then this troubling story, KNUST graduate's death is being thoroughly investigated. This is coming in from the IGP, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare.
The Informer, says, man-to-man debate, Mahama pulls foot. That's according to Dr. Baumia. 2024 polls will be peaceful and credible, UN chief assures. Ghana faces hunger. That's according to a Varsity Dawn, of course, in respect of estimated drop in national fish production. And we are not witches. Embrace us. NCD patients appeal. And the Informer, please watch the front page to effect some corrections. The subject verb agreement not working well there.
Good man. Let me take you to the Chronicle. The big story says Baumia is a gem. The future of Ghana lies with him and the NPP. That's Natoshi Ado speaking on the front page of the Chronicle. Also, Mahama is running away from me. He does not want to debate me because he knows I will expose him. That's coming in from Baumia, who is speaking up north. And Hydro Authority, UK entity, sign MOU on flood control.
The Republic Press says SNIT gets MPRA's green light for sale of 60% SNIT shares in hotel portfolio. Nam1 to face justice as court rules against submission of no case. Driver jailed 15 years over sex with minor. And My Turn Limited CEO Hannah Brenda Martin wins Ghana's most outstanding female in construction.
Let me take you to the Daily Searchlight, which says this morning, is it a tactic born out of desperation? Baumia dares Mahama to debate. Charlie Kenkranji is spoiling the matter these days. Also on the front page, man, 71 rice BCE in Bono Ahafo, in the Ahafo region.
Okay.
Wow, that's an interesting one. Yep. Great story there. And then also Educhum launches a cybersecurity, digital forensic and AI laboratory in Accra. Okay. Something else here that says Atamels Memorial Heritage to commemorate 12th anniversary of his passing.
If you go to the Inquisitor's front page, it says IGP Kokonsate probe, matter no die. Further investigations soon. In other stories, we'll pray for you and Baumia Wasa Amenfi Omanhin to Napo, and minority against restricted recruitment. All of that and more on the front page of the Inquisitor.
Let me take you to the Daily Analyst for this morning. The big story says sale of SNIT hotels. NPRA approves sale of 60% shares. Employment Minister reveals. Also, more development in the north. I've done better than Mahama as vice president, Baumia. Okay, so the narrative is changing from the top. And the GJA 75th anniversary public lecture. Let's embrace new technologies. GJA president to traditional media. Napo resigns as energy minister also makes the front page, and some of the stories here on the front page this morning.
The BNFT finally from me says VCTF sets up $30.3 million women-led fund. On the economy, bridge institutional gaps in credit rating management, APRM urges. And then there's the PFJ 2.0 story here and the agriculture. And Edward Botry is new APSA Bank MD and cement industry, all for transparent pricing. That's according to Cockmag.
Right.
Okay. Let me take you finally to the Catholic Standard, which says this morning, you have been accepted by Ghanaians, Otumfo to Nuncio. And Otumfo is seen here receiving a gift from His Excellency Archbishop Jagodzinski. Jagodzinski, nice. Outgoing Nuncio to Ghana. Yeah, I love the name Nuncio. Very correct.
Powerful. No?
And then also Vatican excommunicates former apostolic Nuncio to the US for schism. And then also 10 received Papal Awards in Sunyani.
Okay, let me bring you to citynewsroom.com very quickly on the SNIT hotels. Organized labor to hold emergency meeting over NPRA's approval. That's on citynewsroom.com. And then also Finance Minister engages banks ahead of mid-year budget review. VRA meets Interior Minister, security agencies on possible precautionary spillage of Akosombo Dam. The story of Napo's resignation and the president accepting same is also here. Teacher trainees are threatening to protest over CTAC strike. Apologize to Kufuor over Nkrumah comments Nyaho Tamaklo to Napo. And Mahama is running away from debate because he's empty. This is Baumia. On the SNIT issue, starfm.com G8 says sale of SNIT hotel Bafo Ewa underestimating the anger of Ghanaians. This is Ablakwa, will state biggest demo embark on series of strikes if government dares sell SNIT hotels. Ablakwa again, and he also is saying publish outcome of your review of SNIT hotels deal if it was transparent. Ablakwa to NPRA. Akufo-Addo accepting Napo's resignation is here as well. I take you to myjoyonline.com. Special prosecutor unleashes covert operations to crush election fraud. Then again, Finance Minister rallies banks to boost Ghana's fiscal gains ahead of mid-year budget review. GJA demands swift justice in Ahmed Swale's case amid rising attacks on journalists. If you go to All Africa, President Ruto fires Kenyan cabinet after Gen Z protest pressure. And then also, wild weather destroys South African homes, more storms coming. Interestingly, in Uganda, a TikToker has been jailed for vulgar content about Museveni. Apparently, he's been jailed for verbally abusing the president and his family.
That legislation is not correct.
Uganda is on a different.
If the president feels wrong, I mean, you should file some other action as opposed to convicting somebody.
Absolutely.
For expressing
and Biden is standing different on critical night, but gaffes Ma fight. Apparently, there was a NATO summit, and then he was introducing Zelensky. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin."
And when he went on, he said, "What, Vice President Trump?"
Oh my God! There is
an issue. It's some way. We pray for him. Anyway, let's take off this morning.
We'll get into the details.
I thought I should bring you the story concerning SNIT because that's one of the biggest stories circulating. Yesterday, the Minister for Employment was in Parliament and expressed some comments on the situation, and that is creating a lot more storm for the government. So if you go to the Daily Analyst, the MPRA, we are told, has approved sale of 60% shares. It comes with a photograph of Ignatius Bafoewa, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations. The story on page 3 of the newspaper says this morning, the sale of 60% of SNIT shares in its hotel investment portfolio has been approved by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. It should be the proposed sale, according to the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafoewa. Now, this comes after the MPRA ordered on June 28 this year that SNIT called talks with Rock City over the sale of 4 hotels while it concluded additional assessment and engagement. But in a response to inquiries yesterday on the floor of Parliament, Mr. Ewa stated that the MPRA had approved the sale of the hotels after the authority was satisfied that SNIT had followed all legal procedures.
Some angles coming up from that story. SNIT Hotels organized Labour to hold emergency meeting of the approval. So organized Labour will today hold an emergency meeting to determine its next line of action after the National Pensions Regulatory Commission, NPRA, gave the green light for the sale of SNIT shares in some 6 hotels. Meanwhile, if you go to starfm.com, Ablakwa is saying that the minister is underestimating the anger of Ghanaians. Let me bring you some. He says that the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujitu Ablakwa, says the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafoewa, is taking Ghanaians for granted over the sale of a 60% stake in 4 Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNIT hotels to Rock City. So that's what's happening here. In the meantime, he is assured that he's going to lead massive demonstrations and embark on series of strikes if the government dares sell SNIT shares in these hotels. Nathan,
if you go to the Herald, came in not too long ago, page 3 of the Herald is talking about the ambulance purchase case in court. And it says Richard Japa, the third accused person in the ongoing case, has filed processes to compel 2 former health ministers, Alban Badbin and Alex Sebefi, as well as the Chief of Defence Staff, Lieutenant General Pompepra, and others, to testify in the ongoing trial. Japa ended his testimony on the 9th of July and has been asked by the court to call his witnesses. He notified the court that he would call 8 witnesses, some of whom are to be subpoenaed. And in court yesterday, Hamid Sadashti, the chief executive of the Dubai-based Big C General Trading Limited, was expected to testify as the first defense witness for Mr. Jakba, but this could not happen.
Okay, so let me just quickly update you on some situations from the courts. If you go to Ghanaian Times page 3, there are a number of stories concerning the courts there. One says court adjourns Kwesi Nyantechi trial, and we're told that it's been adjourned to October 16, 2024. So keep your eyes on that. Another story says bench warrant against military officer over recruitment fraud revoked. The Circuit Court in Accra on Wednesday revoked a bench warrant issued for the arrest of a military officer allegedly involved involved in 136,000 Ghana cedi recruitment scam. We're told the name of the officer is Captain Abel Nete. He appeared before the court together with his lawyers. Now, the third story says that Kaswa ritual murder case adjourned to July 23 after juror strike. So the strike by the jurors of our country affecting justice delivery. For some reason, the state is failing to do something about the situation. It's completely unacceptable. But there's a story that I actually want to draw your attention to.
Tell me about it.
The strike by Clockstad.
Yeah.
And the story on page 13 says Clockstad defies NLC as dispute paralyzes public offices across the country. Now, the story says the nationwide strike by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOSAC, may not end anytime soon, as the leadership of the association failed to appear before the National Labour Commission for the second time yesterday. Now, the NLC had summoned the CLOSAC leadership for a meeting with stakeholders involved in the labor dispute, but they did not show up, just as they had failed to do so last Wednesday. However, a representative of the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Daniel Saki Esiedu, was present at the commission for the scheduled 2 p.m. hearing. I don't think that is acceptable that you are having a dispute about the matter. They've summoned you and you will not go. I don't think it's respectful to the commission. In the meantime, though, they have various reports from the regions, and it would seem that the offices have been abandoned by members of CLOSAC, and it is creating problems. There should be a way of addressing the issue. Government should do something about the situation. They should sit down and resolve the differences.
Nathan, you want to talk about the media budget review, or what do you have? Okay.
Well, I want to talk a bit about national fish production. This is in the Informa newspaper. And Professor Bechia Siedu, Dean of the School of Natural Resources at the University of Energy and Natural Resources, has revealed that if urgent care is not taken, the country could face severe hunger and acute malnutrition in the near future. He premised his warning on an estimated drop in the nation's fish production. According to him, even though the nation's fish consumption is expected to reach 888,096 tons by 2030, total fish production is anticipated to constitute only about 43% of the total fish requirement, making it a threatening situation. He says, quote, "This clearly shows that the demand for fish consumption is expected to outweigh the national supply."
Okay.
And quote. Now, he said this during a research update session organized by the University of Natural, or the School of Natural Resources in Sunyani, themed Managing Our Natural Resources, Academia Industry Partnership for Sustainable National Development.
Let me plug into that. Page 2 of the New Finder says MOFA shares PFJ 2.0 inputs, and the story by Elvis Zadako, the editor-in-chief, says the distribution of input credits under the Planting for Food and Jobs PFJ 2.0 initiative is currently underway. All inputs have been successfully transported to the farming communities. Now, the ministry has engaged the regional and district departments of agriculture and focal persons to ensure a smooth and timely distribution process. They go on to provide some further details on the subject.
Let me bring you back online. Media budget review. Media budget. Don't introduce new taxes. Tax analyst tells the government. So businesses should not expect any lowering or elimination of taxes as the government readies itself to present the media budget review to Parliament in the coming weeks. Let me just go straight to some quotes from Francis Timoboy, who's a tax analyst. He says the expectation is that we should have enhanced compliance measures to boost tax revenue from existing taxes. Some have called for certain taxes to be scrapped, such as the COVID-19 levy, arguing it is no longer needed. Considering the amount the levy contributes to the government coffers, I don't think the government would want to remove it, especially when we are under an IMF program. But he was quick to encourage the government not to make any attempt to introduce any new taxes. Meanwhile, we're told that the finance minister is engaging some critical stakeholders ahead of the presentation of the mid-year budget. Don't forget that in Kenya, President Ruto has fired his cabinet after Gen Z protest pressure over the financial bill.
Okay. So let's return home and do some quick politics. If you go to the front page of the Chronicle, Natoshi, the administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund, is saying that Bawumia is a gem.
Okay.
And he's basically the solution for the problems of the country as we see them. And that the people of Ghana should vote for him come December 2024.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that particular story, grab a copy of the Chronicle. But elsewhere, we're told Mahama is running away from me.
Is he?
The story on page 3 says the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has challenged former President John Dramani Mahama, the National Democratic Congress presidential candidate, to accept his invitation for a presidential debate on Ghana's economy, governance, and other related matters. And related to that story, if you go to the front page of the Daily Searchlight, they are asking whether the pressure being mounted by Bawumia on John Dramani Mahama to debate him is a tactic born out of desperation.
Okay, if you go to the Republic Press on page 3 talks about Namuan. Now, this story some time back was really front and center in the news. These days, it's taking a bit of a side seat, but it's still there. The story says the High Court, or Richard, please correct me here. It says an Accra High Court. I think it should be the High Court.
The High Court Accra.
The High Court Accra has dismissed a submission of no case filed by Nana Appiah Mensah, known as Namuan, CEO of defunct gold dealership firm Men's Gold. The court, presided over by Justice Ernest Owusu Dapa, ruled that Namuan and his companies, Brew Marketing Consult and Men's Gold, had a case to answer and had to open their defense. Namuan and his companies face 39 counts of various offenses, including selling gold without a license, operating a deposit-taking business without a license, inducement to invest, defrauding by pretenses, and fraudulent breach of trust and money laundering involving over 340 million cedis.
Let me take you international. Both Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi have spoken privately about Joe Biden and the future of his 2024 campaign. Now, both the former president and former speaker expressed concerns about how much harder they think it's become for the president to beat Donald Trump. Neither is it quite sure what to do. Concerns about his mental fitness is still a thing for the Democrats. They're still debating about that. But you remember the story of the Ghanaian who has lived in the UK since 1977 and was told he was not British enough?
Yes.
Well, now the Home Office says he can stay for good.
Yes.
Justice at last. So that's the story. You can find it on citynewsroom.com. It's on the BBC as well.
Yes.
But that's a good place to end the newspaper review.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Total Excellium.
Just quickly do.
Yes.
I want to wish the 71-year-old who is writing the
BC
in the Ahafo region all the very best.
Right.
May he excel. May God help him to excel so that he will go to secondary school and possibly the university. It tells you that you can always start, no matter how old you are.
Yes.
I sat in the UK in a class with someone who was over 83 years old doing his LLB. And that tells you that
there's no seal
that's
on
right.
what your potentials can take you to.
Exactly.
Thank you, Richard Sky, Nathan
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. And what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
don't get government to pay attention. Until the National Film Authority came and started gathering data and speaking to the fact that, look, showing government the numbers and saying that, look, if you invest in us, this is how many jobs we'll create. This is how much will come into the country. We say that, oh, give us money to invest in filmmakers. We are asking people to come and shoot in Ghana. By the way, if you give us this amount of money, when people come and shoot, this is how much they will bring. And for real, there are films over, $500 million that are looking to come and shoot in Ghana, if only we had an incentive. But we need to be able to show government the business case to say that if you waive these taxes, then this is how much you will get at the back end. Before government will waive that taxes on saying that we should import equipment. So let's just shift. Sometimes it's just a matter of perception. Let's just shift where we stand, where we start thinking we are poor. We are not poor. I think that's a mindset that covers all of us. As Africans, sometimes, and as Ghanaians, we think we are the richest people. Rich in everything. And yet, when we are thinking, we think that we are poor. And because of that mindset, we are not able to position ourselves well. Even when we go for conversations, we undersell ourselves. So if we're going to banks and putting these figures down and showing a return on investment and talking business and saying, look, we are passionate, we love it, but we can bring you money, this conversation will turn around. So my ideal situation is where the creative space begins to own our space, have confidence in our space, look for the data, and be able to show the investors that, look, give us the money, and we'll show you a return on investment. And then let's begin to become rich in our minds. There's not too much time, so I'm going to try and wrap it up. But the thing with being in the creative space, they say that you have to be delusional, a bit delusional, to be a creative. Because what is being a creative is thinking that you can bring something to life that was never, nobody sees. If you are not a bit delusional, I don't know how you can go around thinking that. But let's understand that in our delusion, it's not just delusion. It is there. The numbers are there. Let's gather them and let's become confident in our delusion. I think we'll talk more as we go along, so I end right here. Thank you so much.
Juliet and I, when we were talking, Juliet was saying that Ghana, a lot of people have very poor souls. And I said that we don't have a soul to begin with. So, as I beg to differ, it's not even a poor soul. The souls are even very little. Yeah. So, and culture and creativity, particularly also through film, is how we can somehow revive the body with the soul. And but also the fact that in our generation, we are doing work that will somehow clear the path for others in the future, which I think is very important. And then to Juliet now, we're talking about public policy and how that can lead to economic transformations within the creative sector. And she also mentioned about the good society, which is very important. Like, how do we build a good society anywhere? And then creativity certainly is one of the most important points and spaces to build a good society. And then she spoke about the idea of like importing equipment for films and others for breaks. Recently, we had I don't know if you know of this, the Polaroid, the old Polaroids. So, the company, they made the small cameras, but they made very large cameras also. So the Ghanaian photographer, James Bano, he turned 95 recently, and there was a James Bano festival, which there were exhibitions across the country, from Accra through Kumasi to Tamale. And in Tamale, we hosted a very major exhibition of his work, mostly work that he had done that had never been shown before. So in 1959, he came to Tamale, and that was the only time he ever came there. He went to Tolong and other places, and he made some really good photographs. And those photos have never been shown before, because he lived in the UK for quite a long time, and he worked with the Drum magazine and others. So most museums are used to showing those works that he did. But we wanted to show work, particularly in communities Because if someone like James Banner, who is 95, he hasn't been in Tamale since 1959. It's very rare that you find someone who's still alive since 1959 and still coming back to a space. So just 3 weeks ago, he came to Tamale to open the show. And he hadn't come there since 1959. You can imagine. Akosomo had not even been built yet. So that's a very long time ago. And I worked with the Polaroid Foundation in Venice to do an exhibition recently and produce work. And they had this camera that they made in the 70s. The camera has never been brought to the continent before. And there are only 5 that exist in the world. One is at the Harvard University in their museum, and 4 are active. And they only made 5 when the camera was made. And they are very large-scale cameras. So imagine a Polaroid is this size, but that camera is about this size, you know? So there was the idea to combine making, like, James and I coming together to make a series of photos. So I said, why not make these photos in the north? Because when you make it in the north, even the subject matter will be different. Because if James, of course, like when it comes to Ghana, he's mostly in Accra. If you shoot this in Accra, people will hijack it. You know, when you go to exhibitions and all that, you always have the same type of bodies in those exhibitions. You know, people always go to exhibitions pretending that they understand what they're seeing. You know, it's a culture of art, you know, like with the wine glasses and all that, like, you know, and the idea is that how do we expand the bodies? Because even when you see paintings and art exhibitions, they're mostly because precarity is what has breeded art over the years. Because Mumin was talking about the Medicis and all that. So if you're going to make work, and then, for instance, you are painting a kaye or whatever, and then the painting, let's say, goes to hang in a museum or in a gallery somewhere, forgetting that most often the kaye will not be part of the conversation of the work. So for me, the question was that how do we extend that? So we decided, why not just use the photograph to photograph the kids and then the workers in the community in Tamale. So we did that, you know, but when the camera arrived in Ghana, that was a problem to get it out of customs. Something that was just coming on temporal imports. Customs was asking for them to pay 5.7 million Ghana cedis. Yes, exactly, as a bond before they released the camera. Because temporal import. And that's, look, even when I make exhibitions abroad and I decide that I'm going to save these artworks and then transport them to Ghana because we're building a permanent collection for future generations. The last time my works arrived back at the airport, to clear it and everything, it was 500,000 cedis. Yes, something that you've made in Ghana, you sent abroad, and you're returning it to give it back to the society that you're in. So at the end of you guys were talking about one thing, love. It's only love that keeps us in this. Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, without love, love is very important. People say, well, can we eat love? But you can't eat it. But then in the long term, it keeps the body and it keeps the mind alive. If not, you go insane. Because somebody asks, but why should I even do this? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And that's what you are talking about, the delusional aspect. Yes, you need a bit of delusion. Or sometimes I would say a bit of stupidity. Because without stupidity, you can't be too sensible. People always make calculation. Oh, if I do it like this and like that, this will happen. No, it won't happen. There are so many things. It's like in the world, everything conspires not to make things happen, particularly when it comes to the creative industry. But the humanities in the world, that is what keeps any society alive. Without film, a lot of people always say that, oh, America is this and that. So in the film, when someone falls down, 911, an ambulance comes, woo, they take the person to the hospital. And I said, it doesn't happen like that in America. Yeah, film has made us to believe something which does not exist. Do you know the deaths? People are running away from hospitals because the ambulance took them to a hospital and they have to pay $5,000. But the film doesn't tell you that. You know, so film, again, culture, it's such a powerful medium. I'm saying it in a good way, that in a sense that film and culture has a way of somehow retelling stories and also making us to believe in a world that we live in, or a world that we want. I wanted to talk about the idea of creating value, building the good society. Again, what kind of a country or society are you going to build one day? So that's the reality. The fact that you are building a society which inherently is flawed and has created a gap in itself. So already, a lot of the kids will grow up and then one day they realize that, oh, there are For instance, they want to be able to do things, but in terms of exposure and experience, there might be others who have those exposures. But even in terms of interpretation, those others who have the exposure, they don't have the right interpretations. Because sometimes we tend to see people as sophisticated and intelligent because they have something we don't. But that is not justice. When all of us have it, that's when we can access intelligence. You know it, I know it, and now we can talk about it. Oh, but what do you think about this? Maybe I might even have a better insight based on my condition, based on the fact that I even live, for instance, in Tolong. There are certain experiences that allows me to be able to read it in a much more intelligent form than even if you live in Accra or in New York or elsewhere. So the last, I would say, is about the value that we're talking about. Because for us as artists, for instance, I don't make money in Ghana from the work that I produce. I travel around the world, I teach, I make installations and all kinds of things. I do installations in Ghana and all that. But the fact that in Ghana, there are so many wealthy people, so many rich people. But when people have money, they want to buy the next house in Trasaco or buy the next Bugatti or Rolls Royce or whatever. Whereas elsewhere, their mates are investing into building like cultural institutions, buying castles, turning them into spaces and all that. That is one thing that we have to invest into the next generation. So that's why for us in Tamale, it's not so much about the fact that, oh, the kids just come and see a painting or a sculpture. It's about the entire system. You know, one day, many of these kids, I don't even hope they become artists one day. We just hope that one day they become good thinkers in a good society one day. When some of them become doctors or engineers or whatever, they realize that in thinking about the society that they find themselves in, all different things are connected. So some of them will become wealthy in the future. And how do they invest their money into the creative sector as we're talking about? How do we invest into the creative sector? So those things are very important. And also a lot of the works that I've made for museums, there are works like, there's a work that I made with these shoemaker boxes, non-rentable in cancer. One was bought by the National Gallery of Canada. So when you go to Canada, it's in the public collection of the whole country. There's one in Miami in a museum. There's one in Amsterdam. And there are two versions which are here in Ghana. I remember there was a museum in Norway called the Astrid Family Museum. They invited me to Norway to see, because they have a very magnificent collection. And they wanted to buy the work because they said, oh, you know, we need it because we need to reconstitute our collection, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, I can't sell it. And they said, why? And I said, it's not mine to sell. I have gifted the work to a public trust in Ghana. They said, but you can always make the work again. I said, no, I can't. The time as I made the work, the materials I made the work with and all that, it was coming from an old factory that had been built by Nkrumah back in the 60s when Tema was built. And the factory had been abandoned. So the interior, the archives, that was what made the work. I can't reproduce that. The soul that went into the work. Someone would have said, oh, just sell it. You can always make another after all. You're not the artist. But it doesn't work that way because every work has its provenance. So if you decide to keep the work in Ghana, currently one of those works is valued at $500,000. So there are two of it in Tamale. So just that two alone is more than the value I've spent on building the institution. And that is one work. And there are at least 500 works which I've gifted to the public trust over the last 10 years. So imagine that even now, if you're not looking at the infrastructure, you're looking at... you are not looking at the infrastructure. You are looking at the value of the work in it. Because the Mona Lisa, France has placed a tax value of $2 billion on it. It means that even if the Louvre decides they ever want to sell it, they can't sell it because no one will be able to pay that. But then in Ghana, do we understand that? Are we on that level? And it's not just the artists, but also, I think as I said, I like something that you said very well, that you went to study policy in order to be able to go into governance and all that. Because as artists also, that's one thing that we also have to do. We have to go into that sector because you also just can't sit there and then leave it into other people's hands. We need to be able to influence decisions and things that happen within that. And eventually when that happens, the 100 billion that you were talking about, it would even be a lot more.
See the word for you and the word for me, but I have to say please wait until I get my new car.
Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 450 gram Abina spaghetti, only 8 cedis, 99 pence worth. And 1 liter Crystal Valley full cream or low fat milk, just 24 cedis, 99 pence worth each. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 21st July, only at ShopRite.
Dive in, feel the thrill. Get ready for the splash of a lifetime. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship is here. Come witness the ultimate test of tenacity and endurance. This is where teamwork and camaraderie meet the thrill of competition. It's the 13th and the 14th of July 2024 at the world-class Botainment Sports Complex, and the time 9 a.m. each day. Be part of the excitement as swimmers from across the nation compete for glory. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship dive into greatness. Now, with just a few days to go, we invite all viewers of Channel 1 TV and listeners of 97.3 Citi FM to join us. The entry is free for all spectators. Come cheer on teams from Kumasi, from Tema, and from Accra. Don't miss out on this spectacular event. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship is powered by Channel 1 TV in partnership with 97.3 Citi FM and the Ghana Swimming Association, and is proudly sponsored by Spring Consult and Piva Beverages. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship, your ticket to an unforgettable splash.
My name is Teno, the CEO of Teno Agriculture Company. I heard about the Ghana Jobs and Skills Project online. I applied the online form. Thankfully, I was selected. I went with this basis of training, that is, basic, intermediate, advanced. After the training, I applied for the grant. And I got it. I'll be using the money to buy the equipment such as laptop, printer, tape measure, stationaries. I want to use this medium to send the government to Ghana, the World Bank,
GA, transforming MSMEs, empowering people.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hi everyone, welcome to Friday's edition of Kickoff right here on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Bernard Abeku. Today we've got something different for you on Kickoff this morning. In today's episode, we chat with the swim teams ahead of the Channel 1 National Swimming Championship later tomorrow. My colleague Gabi Ofe caught up with founder of Monarch Swimming Academy, Kelvin Kumenya. The Monarch Swimming Club is part of the 14 clubs who will be competing at the second edition of the Swimming Championship coming up this weekend at the Botainment Sports Complex. Enjoy this conversation with Kelvin Kumenya, with Gabi Ofe.
Founder Monarch Swimming Academy and coach as well. First, talk us through when the academy was formed and why you decided to invest your time, money, and everything to nurture young talent.
Okay, so first of all, I'll say a big thank you for giving me such opportunity. So, the Monarch Swimming Academy I think it's been 2 years in existence so far. So I think that should be in 2022. Yeah. So honestly, I didn't have in mind to come up with a swim club. I was just learning to swim, just teaching them how to swim, until I had a one-on-one competition with a coach who has the swimmers to come over from a swim club. And looking at my swimmers' performance, it's really encouraged me. I'm like, we could do better if we should join this swim club for competition. So that was the main reason why I thought of having a club or just forming a club. Yeah.
And from 2022 to now, when you look at it, what are the positives you've picked from from 2020 to now?
Honestly, it hasn't been easy. You know, none of the parents had any idea of we going for competition or joining a swim league or anything, because they just brought their kids to me just to teach them how to swim, and all of a sudden I just have to let them know, okay, we are going for competition. So it was a big surprise, and to get them to understand everything, to take them through and everything hasn't been easy. But so far, I think we've done good. We've been good. I mean, we were not able to join the season 1. We joined the season 2, and we've learned a lot. We've really picked up a lot, which we are really going to boost up. And also, honestly, we are not really looking at, I mean, everyone wants to win, but we are really focused on our time, of dropping our time and getting ourselves better, because most of the swimmers have been in existence for years. We have 10 years experience, we have 15 years experience. So for us to compete with them within 2 years, I think we just have to take our time and learn more before we even think of, competing or beating them or something.
You have got a lot of knowledge about the sport, swimming, because you decided to invest your time, resources, and everything into it. If you look at the sport from 2022 to now, would you say it has grown, it has evolved, it's getting the mileage in it, the attention in it?
Yes, it has, because I think before we didn't have the swim league at then, and even if we had, it was now coming up. We are now, planning everything, and it was organized. You know, the swim league was organized by a swim club. It was brought up by a coach, and we all decided to support to help it grow. So honestly, it's really growing, but I think we still need more. As I said earlier on in my first interview, we really, really need a reliable 50-meter pool, because seeking for permission to use the pool for competition, sometimes it's really, we'll train the kids at a particular pool thinking this is where we'll have the competition to build their courage. Most of them, because we are new, I guess some of them competing for the first time. So getting them used to a particular pool, building their confidence, and during a day or a week before a competition, the venue has to change. It's really a challenge when those things come up, but we still do our best. So honestly, what we really need now, we need a reliable pool. A pool we can rely on, like we can go to any time. We can schedule every team to have training over there, because we have most teams who don't get access to the 50-meter pool. So for us to meet together and have a competition, I would say sometimes it's not fair, but we just have to take it like that. Because we have so many teams, like me, like this, we mostly do our training here, which is the 20-meter pool. We have most teams who, like the Legon Sharks, the GA Dolphins, who have access to the 50-meter pool. It's open to us to have a train, but the distance doesn't really help. So it's really a challenge. So if we should have a reliable pool, I think we can all schedule days and time that we all have access to it. Then we can really, really call it as a competition.
Talk to me about the Channel 1 National Swimming Championship coming up, the maiden edition. You were not part, right? No, Monarch was part. That's when I first saw you. Yes, that's great. Your thoughts on that? A media house trying to push swimming as a sport together with the Ghana Swimming Association.
Yes, so honestly, it was a big surprise when I first heard it. It was a big surprise, and we were all like, is it going to be just swimming, or are they going to add something else? Because we didn't know what was coming up. All we were informed was Citi TV was coming up with, before Citi TV was coming up with the swimming competition, everything. Channel 1 TV now coming up with a swim competition, and we're like, okay, we've not heard them, they've not really spoken to us about anything about swimming, so what's going on? Let's just go. But honestly, I think everything went on well, and if there was any mistake or any challenge, I think, you guys maybe might learn from it, and we might see a big difference from.
What a big day is tomorrow, and it's a 2-day event happening at the Advertisements Sports Complex. It's the second edition of the Channel 1 National Swimming Championship. That's our package this morning on Kickoff. There's more sports later at 5 p.m. on Sports Flash. Kickoff is proudly brought to you by Shell, Lachelle, and Zonda. I am Bernard Bakery. Sport is life. Get involved.
After 8, Friday morning, 97.3 Citi FM, Citi Breakfast Show. We're gearing up for the big day. The swimming contest will be happening this weekend at the Boteman Sports Stadium. Things on my mind this morning. Richard Alaska is here. Nathan Kwao will join us as well. I'm thinking, right? We just have a presidential debate. Do you need that? Would that help you decide? Would that be great? But are you ready to power up your finances and unlock your path to prosperity? Are you ready to watch your investments grow with confidence? The Lesheho Fixed Deposit Solution is your best option. With Lesheho's Fixed Deposit Solution, you are not just investing, you're making your money work harder for you so you can watch your wealth grow. Don't settle for your average returns. So join the investment revolution with our fixed deposit solution and take charge of your financial future. Call us now on 02700407999 or WhatsApp us on 027004073 to learn more. Invest wisely, invest with Lesheho. Lesheho, let's improve life. Fuels, drive your car to peak performance. Every car loves Shell. We've done this for over 100 years, innovating. So you won't just be buying fuel, you'll be buying the most advanced fuels, which will save you money in the long run. Dynaflex technology are the most advanced fuels designed to prevent deposit buildup and keep your engine clean and protected. They're also designed to help save fuel and get extra kilometers from each tank fill, so you can do more in your day. So drive into a Shell station today and fuel up your car with Shell fuels designed for engine efficiency and performance, and give your car the love it needs for better journeys. Go well.
Well, in a few weeks or in a few days, the Olympic Games will start, and Zenith Bank wants to give you an experience. They want to let you go to Paris to go enjoy the Games. How do you do that? You need to spend a minimum of 3,000 cedis on at least 5 transactions and win an all-expense-paid trip to the Olympic Games in Paris. Make this summer extraordinary with your Zenith Visa card. For more details, visit zenithbank.com.gh. T's and C's apply. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Now, if you are thinking of going to school later this year, Heritage Christian University College is a school you should consider. Now, they are providing a missing link in tertiary education through creativity and innovation. They have undergrad programs that include psychology, accounting, finance, logistics, and supply chain, etc. They've got master's programs as well. You can call them on 0547 777 or visit them on their website hcuc.edu.gh. Heritage Christian University College, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. VW Ghana is announcing the 40k promo. For every T-Cross Up compact crossover SUV you buy, you save 40,000 cedis, and for every Amarok pickup you buy, you save 40,000 cedis. Take advantage now. Drive Ghana, drive Volkswagen. Hurry while stocks last. And they also have other vehicles: the Terramount, the Tuano Space, the Virtus, and the T-Cross. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 025 795 6688. And GT Bank is saying that between the 23rd and 27th of July, they'll be holding the 3rd edition of their biggest corporate social responsibility initiative, the GT Bank Annual Autism Workshop and Consultation at the Kofi Ohene Konedu Auditorium, UPSA, under the theme is Spectrum of Possibilities. And they'll have a team of leading medical specialists and consultants from the USA, UK, Nigeria, and Ghana that will take participants through a free one-on-one consultation in the areas of speech and behavior, occupational therapy, and etc. GT Bank, wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Nixon, who says birthday wishes to Antoinette Kumoji from your bestie Eunice of Deloitte and partners and friends of Deloitte and Touche. Have a wonderful day. May God continue to bless and lift you up so highly in the eyes of the world. Many of those messages are here.
Yes. A few more messages. Happy birthday to Mr. Peter Debra of North Legon. He's an uncle to my wife and he's a great guy all around. So, Uncle Pete, happy birthday to you from myself and Gina from the entire Amwako family as well.
Yeah, there's this one that is coming in from Manasseh Jomaku Jr., who says that please wish your hometown lady happy birthday for me. She's from Adafianu, the Babanaokope area, the owner of Graceland Pub at Babanaokope. So happy birthday to Mrs. Vivianaku Jomaku of EcoBank Okonglo branch from your husband, Mr. Manasseh Kweku Jomaku Jr. And it's also coming in from your children, Selassie Jomaku, Maunyo Jomaku, Mauto Jomaku, Makafu Jomaku, Mawufamo Jomaku. And they are saying that they love you so much and they appreciate you for all that you have done in their lives over the years and what you will continue to do in their lives in a truly transformational way. May the Lord God bless you and lift you up and then take you to places. And this is coming in from all the people who say they love you and I love you too.
Nice.
This is from my village.
Very important.
Yeah, my town.
Babanaokope.
Yes.
We were there the other time, wasn't?
No, we passed there.
Okay, Babanaokope. No, that's where the school was flooded, some area.
No. So that's the Agbozume side.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there's another Babanaokope.
So the Agbozume and Adafianu essentially within the same area.
Okay.
The traditional authority there, as the paramount chief of the Song area is Togiadama.
Yeah.
And then also, so Adafianu, if you are Adafianu, you're coming in from Denu, right, and you are going to Azaji or Keta, right?
Yes.
Using the coastline. But if you are going to Agbozu, then you are coming in from Akachi.
That's right.
Through related communities, and you are going to Aplau.
So something interesting has caught my mind away from the Babanaokope and Zizania and all that. So we are having the National Swimming Championship tomorrow and Sunday. It's happening and it's starting from 9 a.m. right?
You.
While we will be swimming in the proper stadium at Botevano, the people of Pumbaria, they said they swim in mud.
Oh,
because the road they drive on, the road is not good. So this morning they are protesting. Somebody raised the potholes are deep.
Oh, yeah, today is
and they fuse the place. So apparently today is the day they are demonstrating.
Oh, I see. They sent me
I'm seeing some placards here.
Oh, beautiful.
They are very interesting. Let me let you read some of the placards that they are demonstrating.
Okay. So we've been talking about the situation with the road on that particular corridor. So especially if you're going towards the Akusumbo area, after the Tema runabout and you headed towards the whole area, the conditions there are terrible, and because of that it affects the movement of vehicles to and from that particular place. The local people have had to put together their own resources in some cases to fix the problem temporarily, but the situation quickly deteriorates, and that impacts the vehicles in a very, very terrible way. They tell us about their shocks, they tell us about their tires, and many parts of their vehicles having to suffer as a result. So the last time they sent us messages saying that they intend we're back on a demonstration today. So our understanding is that they are doing that. So some of the placards, so they are wearing red tops and black
slacks,
pants and tracksuits and all kinds of things. And some of the placards read, "We swim in the mud." Charlie, that's the way. "Roads are a right, not a privilege," reads another one. "Fix the road." That's the hashtag you're using. Another one says, "Bone barrier traffic is killing our..." Oh, yeah. Is that libido I'm seeing? That's somewhere. The man is holding some Charlie somewhere. And then also, "We are also Ghanaians," is another is screaming a headline from one of the placards.
Mm.
One other one says, "Save roads, save communities." Another says, "Our lives are worth good roads." And more of them saying bad roads. Many things.
And people are really expressing frustrations in interesting ways.
Not happy about the state of the road connecting the Tema area, and for that matter Accra, to the whole areas or the Eastern Corridor enclave of our country, and they are making their voices heard. It is expected that this will send some message to the those in charge of the road sector, and they would have to do something about it, because I mean, whether we like it or not, that is a very significant trunk road connecting the port city of Tema, which is also a heavy industrial area, produces a lot of the things we either export or use locally. And it connects that to the northern parts of the country and also the eastern part of the country in many respects. So one would expect that if the condition of that road is not good, the authorities will do something about it quickly. But in the circumstances, that seems not much has been done. And so we would appeal to the minister responsible for roads to immediately do some emergency meeting and see what funding they can dedicate to fixing the problem in the interim while they work on a long-term solution for the problem.
That's correct. So a lot of messages are coming in already on this one, but we'll be sharing that with our listeners. We'll certainly touch on that. But
and not also those who are there should also tell us about how that is impacting traffic.
Traffic,
because if
that's
people
true.
are demonstrating,
it usually will halt traffic and all of that. But I mean, throughout the week, all the stress you are going through, the road is bad, the portals are not good, you are in traffic for a long time. Look, tomorrow is a good time to reset, refresh, observe a competition that is going to be both rewarding and refreshing for you at the same time.
Thank you.
People do not take time to recreate on weekends. On weekend, boys are still looking for Kpakpakpa and Galamsey to do, adding more stress to the already stressed body and all that. But tomorrow and Sunday, here's an invitation to you to come, even if you are not swimming yourself, simply watching young people and others contest swimming for medals and glory and honors. It's an amazing place to network with other people and generally just reset. So I'm very excited that this National Swimming Championship is around, and Papa Sam is in the studio as well. You know what I mean?
Okay, nice.
Yeah, there's African princesses.
Can you see Richie Sky?
Mama
Maybe so.
No, but everybody,
happy birthday in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Same to you.
It's always past.
May God continue to lift you up.
Amen.
In the eyes of Ghana and the world. So that the people
will... No, you will swim in blessings. Yes.
That against people, I'm a bagbo. Mama, God bless you.
That's who they do cover up.
We are all That's right. Because he's discovered many of them.
Oh, yes.
And he's nurtured so many people.
While we are Charlie, let them go.
Yeah, first offering. Oh, very necessary. First offering. What's up? Welcome to the studio, man.
Charlie, thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
I was offered to Charlie. Now also I see bent offering. Bent offering say. Offering pa shit.
Oh my God. Very necessary. No, but the swimming championship, it's exciting for me. Yeah, but where did this come from? What's the idea? Say, in swimming.
Oh, it's one of many things that we've been trying to do, because we clearly see there's a gap in the system, and this is within the space of youth development, across board. And some of us who grew up in this part of Ghana have fond memories of what it used to be like. like the table tennis clubs and sports, the way we have betting sports today. Betting. We used to have table tennis sports. Wow. If you went to any of the YMCA offices, you have table tennis there. In the Kokomlemle, Asylum Down, Osu area, Hatramani, the Indian businessman who was a philanthropist who took on the promotion of table tennis in Ghana, had all over the place, and it was a good way of engaging the youth. And we think that thing is lost on us for many reasons, including the commercialization element. People want to see what they can get commercially first. Which didn't used to be the case. And I'm not saying that is bad, because the original motive was to engage the youth profitably, to keep them off the streets and keep them engaged. And I mean, growing up in Kumasi, we used to walk. I remember we used to walk all the way from TUC Estates to YMCA just to go and learn table tennis. But table tennis is one of several. And we think swimming also has a place in the world of sports, and the potential is there. We have not, we haven't exhausted the potential for swimming in Ghana, like many other sporting disciplines. So we started with, we did cross country before, we haven't done it because the route is become somewhere. There's construction going on there and all that, and so we have decided to go with swimming. And the whole idea is to increase the population of swimmers in Ghana in the next 3 years. So this is the second time we are doing the swimming competition. Nice. And amazing how many people have showed interest.
So many people, right?
Yeah. I think Nathan has the details.
Yeah. We'll share that with listeners very quickly, but I just want to take care of some announcements and pay bills so that at the end of the month I'll be swimming in riches. You
want to be swimming in riches?
Swimming in riches and peace of mind. So if you're dreaming of Dubai, make it a reality with Global Wings Travel and Tours. Join us for a 6-day all-inclusive tour from 5th to 11th August or 5th to the 21st of September this year. Experience the best of Dubai, from its iconic landmarks to luxurious accommodations. It's an incredible package that includes return air tickets, 6-night hotels, daily breakfast and dinner, Dubai visa, travel insurance, Dubai City tour, Burj Khalifa 124th floor. There's an aquarium and underwater zoo, desert safari with dinner, marina cruise with dinner, IMG World Tour, and everything else inclusive. So let's make your Dubai dream come true with Global Wings Travel and Tours. Book now by calling or WhatsApping 0553 688 398 or 0550 188 181. And then also the new order of retirement is here. Now you can retire on your own terms and with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your lives. Yes, simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. It's that easy. The best part is that you get to enjoy a salary increase by 16% in 2023-2024 as well. Call Old Mutual on 050 453 4333 or visit www.oldmutual.com.gh or simply dial *789*01# to request a call. Or Brapa Ahontonko, Old Mutual do great things every day. Now imagine launching your career, starting your new business, or embarking on advanced studies within 6 months of graduation. At Ashesi, that's nearly every graduate's reality. From Accra to Nairobi, London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and they're leading successful careers. Regardless of what you choose to study, and Ashesi Education gives you a strong foundation for life. Visit ashesi.edu.gh to learn more about the Ashesi Advantage. Remember, admission is ongoing.
Now, the GRA is reminding all withholding tax agents that the 15th of every month is the deadline for the payment of withholding taxes. So the withholding taxes for June 2024 should be paid by Monday, the 15th of July 2024. Now, payment should be done via the USSD *222#, or you can go to any of the 23 designated banks or the Ghana.gov platform, or also use the portal taxpayersportal.com. If there are any issues, kindly send an email to the GRA on info@gra.gov.gh, or send a WhatsApp message to 0552 990 000. Now, whether you are speccing that old car, or you are doing a home makeover, or you are relaxing on a beach getaway, or you want to do all these three in the coming months or in the coming future, use your ABSA card 10 times or more in a month, and you could win 40,000 cedis to change your story. Between now and the end of October, 5 lucky winners will walk away with that amount of money to change their story. Your story matters. ABSA T's and C's apply. Now, between the 12th and 31st of August 2024, the Nyansapor Institute STEM Bootcamp will be happening. Dive into artificial intelligence, 3D design, coding, and more skills that top employers are now craving. Bring your child and get tutored by Michelle Amoako, a mechanical engineer specializing in systems and software engineering. Nyansapor Institute, where coding, engineering, and design meet opportunity.
So the game is on. Dive in, feel the thrill, get ready for the splash of a lifetime. The Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship is here. Come witness the ultimate test of tenacity and endurance. This is where teamwork and camaraderie meets the thrill of competition. It's happening from tomorrow to Sunday, 13th and 14th July 2024. Venue, this is the Boteman Sports Complex. Time is 9 a.m. each day. Be a part of the excitement as swimmers from across the nation compete for glory. With just a few days to go, in fact, a few hours to go, we invite all viewers of Channel 1 TV at 97.3 Citi FM listeners to join us. Entry is free for spectators. Come cheer on one team from Kumasi, one team from Tema, and 5 teams from Accra. Now, the Channel 1 TV National Swimming Championship is powered by Channel 1 TV in partnership with 97.3 Citi FM and the Ghana Swimming Association, and is proudly sponsored by Spring Consort and Piva Beverages.
Well, Caleb, you were talking about the swim team. So, 12 teams have finally signed up. 12 teams. So, we have a total of 194 swimmers. 194 swimmers from 12 teams. So, you have GH Dolphins. They have 20 swimmers. They are from Accra. Marlins, they are also from Accra. They have 23 swimmers.
Are they not the defending champions?
Yes, Marlins are the defending champions. They topped last year. They got 63 medals in all last year. So that was a fantastic time for them. I'm sure they have the big bullseye on their back, and teams who want their crown. Legon Shark Swimming Club, they also have 20 swimmers representing. They are in Accra. GH Aquatic Masters from Accra, 18 swimmers. Torpedo Swimming Club from Accra, they have 20 swimmers. Monarch Swimming Club from Accra, 10 swimmers. Turtle Swimming Club, 19 swimmers. They are from Kaswa, which is geographically in the central region. African Sharks, they are from Kumasi. They've got 19 swimmers.
Wow.
Dolphin Swimming Club, they have 10 swimmers. They are also from Kumasi. Dolphin Swim Center, they have 16 swimmers, and they are from Takrady. Blue Fins Swimming Club, they have 17 swimmers. They are from Tema. And Tema Seal Swimming Club, they have 21 swimmers, and they are also coming from Tema. So 12 clubs, 194 swimmers, taking part in several events in swimming, relays, individuals, 50, 100, all of those things will be done this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at the Boteman Aquatic Center.
Now, one of the coaches has sent me a message. He says, "Good morning, Caleb. Watch out for our best swimmer from the Western region. She's called Yemen Konye. Yemen Konye. She holds the record in the national 200-meter breaststroke. So it's a game of champions."
Oh, you mean the for the country inside they can't compete?
Yemen Konye. And she's coming all the way from Western region.
Wow.
So as she's swimming as a
wow, that's a beautiful one.
It's
a beautiful one.
It's going to be a very interesting one to see. And I like the fact that, Samantha, you say that for a very long time, I mean, even though there's such great potential here, it is something that we have neglected. And also, these things, as they keep the youth engaged. Yeah. So that instead of engaging in other vices that we have left unchecked, that we also do not even have the capacity to rehabilitate should people get addicted to all kinds of things that they are doing simply because these avenues are not available. We give them a great chance to recreate. Also thinking about the fact that if you go to many communities, parks are not available. People are not playing. People are not recreating anywhere. They are always indoors. And they're always online most of the time.
The parks have been taken over by real estate people. So, but suffice to say, I mean, we have a challenge and we think that we can use our platform to push. I mean, in the last half of the century, what did I say? Last half? Yeah, I mean, the last number of decades going down, sports development has benefited from the media platforms. So the re-energizing of sporting disciplines have always come hand in hand with media support. Talk about the English Premier League. Television had to push it. German Bundesliga. We all got to know that through television. Yes. And even in most of the countries, before they kind of re-engineer a sporting discipline, they try to look for media that will push it. And so ours is to use the media to push what we're doing, for youth development. That's why we are going this way with swimming. And it's not just swimming. We have other things in the pipeline that we're trying to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
we are all going. We are all going to the place tomorrow.
No, it's one thing that I often want to ask you when I have a chance is how there's always something happening, and it cuts across the board.
Well, that's
from
life.
Entertainment to sports to business to politics. It's like there is always something, and I have a feeling also that it's also based on the things you saw growing up and how
and
things,
our estimation of the touch points of the listener that we are trying to reach out to. What do they do on daily basis? How do they spend their weekends?
Right.
How do they bring up their children? What kind of schools do they attend? How do they feel about economy? What are their experiences in the marketplace? How do they move from one place to another? The mode of transportation. It all comes. It's all part of the elements of programming.
Right.
So we look at it from this angle. There are times that we touch on programs and events for a while and then we withdraw from that space. Frankly, not because we are not excited about it, but at times we actually are able to estimate that the core listeners may have moved on from that space.
Okay.
And so we re-engineer.
Okay, and find something else.
Yeah, so that's why we do what we do.
Wow. That's so exciting because when I think of the caravan, for example, it's one thing that a lot of people, if you check my WhatsApp, so many people are always looking forward to the Heritage Caravan. It's one thing that touches people.
Last month, I got 3 calls from somebody in Canada.
Wow.
Asking me,
Charlie, when can we start paying for the caravan?
Break comes early next year.
Yeah.
Says, okay, so because of that, he'll come to Ghana in December and sit and wait.
Make sure that just when we announce it, then he will pay for the thing. So that you will not make
So he called me the first time. Yeah. The second time, I told him the same thing. The third time, he called to be very sure. I said, I won't lie to you.
No, he doesn't want to miss the boss.
Why won't people organize themselves and do the trip by themselves?
I guess
it's a different vibe.
Yes, I guess when so we are doing the heavy lifting, and maybe because we've done it for a very long time, they believe that we'll do a very good job. For me, I think the number one reason is the heavy lifting. Once the pain of moving about is taken care of, they don't mind paying for that service.
So all they need to do is to sit.
That's sure.
But there are tour companies that can also do the same.
Yeah,
that is true.
But
if you're meeting Umar Sanda on the bus, it's a different vibe. If you're meeting,
just pay Sanda to be on your bus.
maybe it could be that the tour companies are not also maybe making noise about those services. It could be. It could be. It could be that they are not promoting enough. And what we do goes very far.
It's their business to promote.
Yes.
I mean, that's the business model. You're doing tourism, you have to sell it.
True.
And frankly, I am very reluctant to overdo it because you don't want to sound like you are competing with tour companies. Indeed, that's not what we are doing. We are just doing, if you like, brand promotion, and engagement. That's what we do. But we don't want to be. We don't want to stand in their way, if you like. Yes. So we want tour companies to take advantage.
Yeah.
Now we know for a fact that there's a clear
huge
need,
demand.
a huge demand.
Yeah.
We should be innovative to market the packages. I see lots of people doing packages for Dubai, packages for Singapore, Kenya, Rwanda, and all
Zanzibar.
Tanzania. And they do maybe 30, 40 people in one trip. So it's there. People are doing it.
Yeah.
We just haven't created that traction for internal tourism where people make a date, So please, we are doing what we are doing, but we don't want to occupy the space.
I will say this, and sometimes you've said it before, we've all said this before. I think what takes away from enjoying the internal experience are the means of getting there, i.e. the route. So I believe that if we can work those parts out, that is one, and to improve the state of some of these tourist sites. Some of them are in very good condition. Some are not. And I believe that Ghana has a lot to tell the world in terms of iconic places. The Ghanaian story is a very unique story. And Ghana's place in the story of the world is important. So if we can, fix the roads and get those places to look better, then we can give people a wonderful experience. But it's also about creating the experience itself. It's not just, going to a place and coming back. When people go, what would they do? What would they experience? Because in other places, people go to a farm to go and see, for example, a place to see how chocolate is done, right?
So they say from the farm to the bar.
And all of those things. What are we doing? For example, we should take people up north and say, you use shea butter. Have you ever figured out how shea butter is made? This is those things. So I believe that if we can improve the experiences and improve the roads, for example, people will enjoy going to places in Ghana.
So we've identified the road network, or bad road network, the expensive levels of transportation that we have, and then there's the untold story of what we call transit tourism.
Transit tourism.
Yeah, transit tourism, which is lost on us completely. We have not, as a country, taken advantage of where we are situated within the sub-region to create transit tourism such that anybody that wants to go to Sierra Leone, anybody that wants to go to Senegal must necessarily pass through Accra.
Right.
When they pass through Accra and they say a layover of 1-2 days, what do they do? This is what Dubai is doing. This is what Heathrow is doing. This is what Amsterdam, so once you get there, that's at the international level. At the local level, transit between here and Cape Coast, what can I do? If I should stop over at Winneba, what is there for me to do?
That's true.
If I should stop over at Mankasim, apart from the people who sell the abolo on the whatever, the Kinke Fanti document, but seriously, in between destinations,
what goes on
is a nightmare. Is a nightmare that we still have not found a clue to it. Look, as you move up north, the distances between destinations widen.
Yeah.
And how no rest stops, no restrooms. If you have to pee, you have to get down, walk into the bush. And this is the part of our tourism chain that we cannot sell to anybody.
That's true.
Indeed, when people come and join us from North America, from Europe, UK, mainland Europe, wherever they have come from, it is the part of the tourism experience that shocks them to the core. That's you're kidding. I want to pee. You want me to enter the bush? I mean, the only reason they do is that they see we, the indigenous, we do it happily. So it's a part that we cannot sell. And why don't we have rest stops?
Yeah.
Why don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, there are people building offices, spaces, residential facilities. How about rest stops?
Very important.
Why is the Ghana Tourism Authority or the ministry not demarcating rest stop areas and getting real estate companies to partner with to do it, have a way of sharing revenue? I mean, why not? It's a very important, and we don't want the government to go and build it, because if the government builds it, it will be a mess, because they cannot manage it. Yeah. Because the business of government is not to manage rest stops. Yeah. You went to Botema. You see what the people have started doing there. Yeah. So I'm just saying that. So the opportunity is there. When we get to the tourism area, there's so much we can do. So much. So
you mentioned rest stops. It took me back to my experience in Japan, right? The rest stop. So we're going somewhere. The rest stop is huge, bathrooms, shops. So like a proper supermarket laid out, and there's a restaurant and everything. So as you are traveling, so it's an experience in itself. A lovely supermarket, you can stop, eat, you can use the washroom, and it's properly laid out, done well constructed. So we need to think about that, because if somebody's going from Accra to Kumasi, that's minimum 4 hours or 5 hours on the road. Once they are going that in itself should be an experience for them. But
we're talking about this because I mentioned the heritage caravan. I was talking about how we for everything we complain and talk about, for everything we give solutions on this show, there is something we do that gives people an experience, that gives anyone who is serious about developing a city or planning a country a springboard to jump on to do something. For example, we do the This is Ghana fair every now and again, and every day I am blown away by the variety, the sophistication, the packaging, and the innovation that Ghanaians bring to the fore. And true to form, I can tell you that since we've been doing This is Ghana, I always, when I'm stepping out, I'm repping something Ghana. Either my bag is made in Ghana, my shirt, my shoe, something always. And there are times I catch myself, I say, wow. But for my laptop and my phone, everything else is made in Ghana. And that thing gives me a sense of pride.
Those of us who use Technophone, it's also made in Ghana.
Well, some is also made in Ghana, so then you are good
it's
to go.
All parts.
So that is fulfilling for me. That as much as there is a lot more we can do and we complain about, we don't complain, but we demand for better. We are always also showing the way that when Ghanaians are given the chance and led well, they will always come to the table. Just on this tourism conversation, before I move to something else we've done, we take for granted the coast that we have. Our friends who are in landlocked countries really, really love to come to our beaches. Now, our friends, neighbors, and listeners who are along the Kumbaria route are complaining about how bad the roads are. But that stretch also leads to some of our finest beach resorts and things in the country. So we really need to take proper stock of the resources that we have. The sheer fact that we are even the center of the world, that's a big thing. The sheer fact that, look, Kwame Nkrumah is from here. We have the Cape Coast Castle, because not every country has the story of this slave trade thing and how people, even the account of how our ancestors were carried through the castles, how they were kept there. I was telling some young lady in Rwanda about the slavery experience, and they have the genocide experience, but the slave trade thing was completely new to her, and this is something she would absolutely love to come see and witness. So that's just on the tourism side and all of that. But I was veering my attention towards the made in Ghana stuff, right? And there are a lot of young people, amazing people who are doing more innovative things. And when you come to the This Is Ghana exhibition, you can tell that there is so much they have to offer that people actually need some help. But on that, I think GEPA has been doing pretty well training our entrepreneurs with respect to giving them skills and knowledge, how to ship, how to even package and do things better here. And that looks good for my end. And yeah, I think that's...
Well, so that's going to happen 1st September, 30th August and 1st September. Yeah, 31st August and 1st September.
From 31st of August to 1st of September.
Yes, that is where we have the This Is Ghana Expo. And we actually have 4 seminars for MSMEs. So if you are in that space, just take note. There's one seminar on packaging your products for the export market.
Packaging your products for the export market.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you are in any kind of entrepreneurship where you create or craft products, it's now time to export. But there's a way to do it. You know, it's not anything that you can put in a rubber bag and send to Abruti. They will throw it away somewhere. You know, there's a way you have to do it, and there are standards that you need to meet. So packaging your product for the export market is one of the seminars. If you want to register for that seminar, you want to call our number 0205973 Okay, so that's one. The second topic is digital sales and marketing to increase revenue.
Digital sales and marketing
to increase revenue.
Wow.
Okay, so you are in this business, you do shea butter, you do what do you call it? Necklaces, you do wristwatches, you do sandals. Look, there's so much happening online. There's lots of opportunities. You don't want.
Or could even have a hospitality business. Any Ghanaian business.
All right. So digital sales and marketing to increase revenue is also one of the seminars that will go on alongside This Is Ghana Expo. The third one is how to access opportunities in the oil and gas industry as an SME.
Wow.
You know, that industry has a very long chain of activities. Yeah. It's not always you have to go into the sea and drill oil. You know, there are ancillary opportunities that you can delve into or dive into. You know, so how to access opportunities in the oil and gas industry as an SME. You don't need to be a huge multinational. What we are saying, that as an SME, there's something that you can do. So we have the one on packaging for export, the one on digital sales and marketing to increase revenue, and then how to access opportunity in the oil and gas industry as an SME. And then the last one is managing your finances and accounting as an SME. So these are 4 seminars that will be run alongside the This Is Ghana exhibition. Date 31st August and 1st September. You want to call 0205 973 973 and register for the seminars.
Super. That's how it's going to be. So you know what to do. 0205 973 973 is the number. Oh boy, we jumped into this so quickly. Some of you are celebrating your birthdays. I'm excited about it. Oh, Sky, there are some birthday dedications coming through, right? Yep. Yeah, tell me about it. Let's celebrate some of our friends who are...
Okay, so this one says, I'm Kwashi Gati. Today is my daughter, Frida Klena Gati's birthday. I wish her happy birthday and may the Lord continue to bless This one says, good morning, CBS. My name is Bilal from Dansuman. Please wish one of the people I have initiated into listening to Citi FM happy birthday, Engineer Emmanuel Azuma of OSAC Limited. May the Lord God, Allah, bless him abundantly and grant him all his heart desires. Amen.
Amen.
Birthdays. So this one is coming in from someone who says, happy birthday, 50th birthday to Mensa. Love from Amma Sawakoto and all the members of Christ Ambassadors Jubilee Church inside Pig Farm here in Accra. They are wishing you the very best of the day and many more happiness in the years and decades ahead. And this one says, good morning, Bernard and team. Please wish our son, Theo Ni Okai Jr., a happy birthday. It's coming in from Mommy, Becky, Daddy and sisters Na and Intima. May the Lord God bless him always. And this one says that good morning, my daughter is Ruth Janelle Nana Ya Warewa Boachidankwa. She's 12 years old today. Please wish her well for me. It's coming in from Daddy, who is Pelgrave, Boachi Dankwa, and the entire family. And this one says that happy birthday to Rita Kipo, a teacher at Laboni Senior High School. May the Lord God bless her new age. And this one says, good morning, Bernard. Kindly wish my mommy, Evelyn Ahimful of First Bank Ghana Limited, a happy birthday. Tell her I love her so much. It's coming in from Sompa. And this one says that happy birthday to Dr. Boachi Donko, a senior resident in the clinical microbiology department at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. It's coming in from all his friends and patients. May God increase him on all fronts. And then many more coming in. This one says, good morning, wishes to Antoinette Kumoji from your bestie, Eunice of Deloitte and partners and friends of Deloitte. Okay, I did this one much earlier. So those are some of the wishes coming in from our listeners celebrating some of their friends and relations.
Nice one.
More of them coming in. This one says, happy birthday to my dearest friend, Miss Zara Bansi of NIB Bank, the Kanda branch, from Isaac of KIPTC. This one says, happy birthday to my sweetheart Dorothy Kluche of Fidelity Bank, the Ridge branch. God continue to bless you and your new age, babe. This one says, good morning. Please wish my auntie, Kangbe Helen, a happy birthday for me. It's coming in from Happy. And many more of them coming. Is there any? Okay, so those will be some of your messages coming in celebrating people close to you.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your pastor Donzi.
Francis or Donko.
I've been to Somalia, Uganda, Liberia, but now I'm back. Home sweet home.
Now there's this call. I mean, a lot of people are excited about the campaigning season. There's a lot of heat within the system, a lot of campaign activity. People are massing up, people are moving, and often on the campaign platforms, salvos are thrown here and there. But as much as the intensity can be exciting, very often we lose the substance of the conversation, or sometimes we don't get well thought through ideas properly communicated through the campaign trail. So people are canvassing for presidential debates, be for the leading candidates and their vice and all that kind of thing. After the presidential debate in the US, people are now having doubts about the fitness of President Biden, whether or not he's the man for the job. So there's been this kind of call. I've heard Madam Joyce Bawah-Mokhtagri say that she doesn't think that there is need for a presidential debate this year. I mean, she cited her reasons, but calls like that here and there have gone on. Sky, I'm sure you've heard, it's come to your attention as well. Would it be good if we had presidential debates? Do they impact the choices of voters in any way at all?
Well, if you examine literature from the US, there is heavy evidence to support the fact that, especially when it comes to undecided voters, it plays a huge part in deciding which way they lean. These are not people who are in firm or strong support of one candidate or the other. They are sitting on the fence, not so sure who they want to give their vote to. And so we'll critically listen to the presentations they make on the debate night, evaluate the responses they provide, whether they match the expectations as citizens of the US and things they care about, and then ultimately decide on the basis of the performance of the candidate on the night who they want to vote for. For a long time, it has become a critical part of the decision-making process for many people. It is not, strictly speaking, a legal requirement, but you go there and you mess up at your own expense, as we saw recently with the performance of President Joe Biden on a night that turned out to be an embarrassing night for the Democratic Party, and with pressure now mounting on him to actually step down from the race, so that either Kamala Harris is made a candidate or someone else is made a candidate. So it exposes the weaknesses of a candidate or reinforces whatever strengths there may be. And then also, if you look at literature from the US, the suggestion is made that it actually even impacts the approval ratings of some of the candidates. Depending on how you perform, you are either likely to be you would have boosted your numbers in the race, or the numbers will plummet. So it is a critical part of the democratic process elsewhere, and I believe that if you read local literature, it does seem that it is also helpful in helping inform how candidates get seen and scrutinized. The history of our own presidential debate format has been led by the IEA, and over the last 15 years or so, we've seen the initial stages of it, a refinement of it. The first one was held in 2000. Unfortunately, what we've had is a refusal by the sitting presidents to take part in the process. So you remember that in 2000, President Mills did not take part in the first one. So it was in the second round that he sort of wanted to be a part of it. And
then he was vice president.
Then he was vice president. Jerry Rawlings was the president at the time. John Kufuor went on to win the elections. And in 2004, when the opportunity was provided again by the IEA for the presidential debate, John Kufuor, after initially saying that he was going to be a part of it, decided that, look, I'm no longer going to be. And that was close to the debate itself. Now, we saw in 2000 and what's the next? The next one was in 2008. When Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was there, because in this case you didn't have a sitting president. John Kufuor had finished his term, was going away, and you had a former vice president running against former Attorney General and former Minister of Foreign Affairs. Who was the candidate of the MPP at the time. So that it provided an opportunity for the men to engage themselves. And then you fast forward, you realize that, look, again, presidents decided that, okay, Mills died, and then John Dramani Mahama became candidate in 2012. So that provided a unique opportunity. And John Mahama did something that had not been done before. At least as far as the Fourth Republican Constitution is concerned. So he attended the presidential debate as sitting president. And we also saw all kinds of things happen that night, the likes of Ayarikov and how it disrupted the thoughts of some of the presidential candidates. And people thought that, that actually belittled the process and many other things. But the fact is, the presidential debates have come to deepen, our democratic process. The challenge, though, is how politicians choose as and when to take part and what it means for them. And that has, to a large extent, undermined the process. And perhaps, I think we should include it as part of our electoral laws, a requirement, so that, it will help people inform themselves as to which way they want to go.
So, great marketing tool for the candidates or the individuals who are putting themselves up for election. But in our context as Ghanaians, do presidential debates sway votes? Because ultimately, if I'm a candidate, my interest and whatever I'm using my time and resources for, my interest is to get more voters. Do you think that campaign trails where there is all that razzmatazz gets people closer and win them more votes compared to the presidential debates where people are watching on TV, listening on radio? Does it work? Does it?
I think Sky made a point. It's part of the elements of democracy, the building blocks of democracy. And even countries that have gone ahead to, if you like, institutionalize debates as part of their electoral processes, it didn't just become what we see today. Even in America, as we make reference to, not until the Nixon Kennedy in I think 1960, they never had properly constituted structured presidential debate. And also, let's also understand that after the 1960 Kennedy-Nixon debate, nobody wanted to subject themselves to the debate. It didn't happen again until 1976 when Jimmy Carter upstaged Gerald Ford. You see, what I'm saying is that there's an emerging process which has to find its way into the culture of electioneering.
Right.
Okay. Let me move to UK. They didn't know anything about presidential debates. In fact, the first time it was properly done in the UK was 2010.
Wow, that's pretty recent.
2010. And guess what? The person who was deemed to have won the debate did not win the election. But why it's important, and you ask the last question you asked, whether does it really matter? Well, it may not give you the votes if you don't have a message, but it can undo you.
Yeah.
Because if you slip, that will be your undoing.
Yeah.
And that's why, more often than not, candidates that believe that they have a commanding lead do not want to subject themselves to debates.
Because then in the event that because you can prepare yourself all you can.
One slip
in front of the cameras and lights, things can happen.
In America, it's happened before when candidates have rejected this thing.
Wow.
So, but it's important that we create space for that, because look, the 40% core followers of your party are there. There's another 30% who are, sympathizers. But there's a certain space of about 15 to 20% who will take a decision based on the new knowledge of what you are made up of. And that's why debates are a necessary part that we should add to our electioneering process. I mean, granted, we are not there yet. You know, the modus for organizing this thing. Who will host?
Exactly.
Who will create the questions?
Exactly.
Who should indeed take part? Should it be the top 2 candidates, or everybody that has registered as a political party can come? You understand? And not until we are able to structure this and maybe find a way of institutionalizing it, either through a law or electoral law, or which means that you should submit yourself to the debate,
the process.
And again, we should also have a way of measuring outcomes of debates.
Okay.
You understand? Because we can't have a debate and then when we finish, this person have won. This person have won.
Yeah.
Then really, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I think yes, we need a debate. You can't force it on anybody because really they have to choose because they will do the speaking. But as part of our election structure, I think the debates are important.
Yeah, and also to add to what the IEA has done is to set up a presidential debate committee. Which committee is usually led by a person of great repute within the clergy. And they provide leadership in terms of finding a moderator, interviewing them, and then deciding which 2 to use. Of course, they also decide to a large extent the questions that will form the bulwark of the debate for the night. And then also venue issues of the north and then the south. And then also we also know that they also organize the same for the vice presidential candidates. Now, because these are men and women of great repute, there's less likely all the time to be adversity towards them because, if a person like, say, Archbishop Duncan Williams is made the chairperson of, the presidential debate committee, I mean, there's less likely to be some aversion from one candidate or the other towards him because his appeal is across the board and his influence is beyond the borders of Ghana, respected even in the US and many other parts of our world. So when people like that are made a part of the process, and as I said much earlier and as reinforced by Samens, is institutionalized, I believe that it should be something that all of us will see as a cardinal part of the process of helping choose our leaders. Because if you look at the requirements or the provisions of the Constitution, we are told by the Constitution that the various political parties are to help us deepen our democratic process. They shape the political thinking of the citizenry. They help educate them on what they want to do, what they do not want to do, and what would help our development as a country. So that if you find that theme appealing enough, a reason from the people who founded the Constitution, then I believe you can then set up a new legal architecture passed by Parliament to make it a requirement. Because at the end of the day, what are we seeking to do? We want citizens to have informed understanding of what exactly they are going for. They want to know what this candidate stands for, so that they can subject him to rigorous questioning and expect that useful answers will be provided. So that at the end of the day, when you go to the ballot and you are to decide, you ask yourself, okay, this man said this about corruption, this man said this about galamsey. So I think that, look, on the balance, I'm voting for this. Of course, as Samens explained, you would have people who would not be moved in whatever way, regardless of what you say. But there are middle class people, there are very informed people who are likely to think that, look, based on what the man has said, let's go on and vote for him. Of course, you saw that with some of the commitments that were made previously. So I was looking much earlier at an article published by Jane Mensah, who today is the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Previously, she served as the leader of the IEA, and she wrote about the impact of the presidential debate. And quickly, if I may, I can read for you some of the things she says about the presidential. So this is an article titled The IEA Presidential Debate, 15 Years of Upholding Electoral Accountability by Jane Mensah, published in 2015. And somewhere in that article, she says that, as indicated earlier, Ghana is the only African country to have held 4 presidential debates back to back, making it a historic feat and a show of democratic maturity for the country. By all accounts, the debates have been successful in lowering political temperature, reducing tension, as well as contributing to peaceful elections in Ghana. At the end of the presidential debates, the candidates hold hands and make a verbal pledge to uphold peace before, during, and after the elections. Now, the video clips of the peace pledge are used by the media houses and the National Commission for Civic Education, the constitutional body in charge of civic education, to promote peace throughout the country. Now, this gesture of cordiality and maturity sends a positive message to the electorate, particularly supporters at the grassroots, that an election is not war, but a healthy contest of ideas. Now, the debates have also promoted issues-based campaigning and discussion, and have helped move campaigns from one of personality attacks and insults to an issues-based election. Indeed, following each debate, the political landscape and media is dominated by a comprehensive analysis of candidates' policy positions. The debates enable the electorate to ascertain what each candidate stands for. This has enabled the electorate to make informed choice on election day. And then find the final paragraph. She says that the debates and evening encounters have also served as accountability platforms, in that whoever gets elected is held accountable for his or her policy positions. In other words, the debates have not only been campaign platforms. Leaders have gone ahead to implement policy proposals they articulated on the debate platform. For instance, she says, Ghana's constitution review process was a pledge made on the 2008 debate platform. So President Mills, candidate Mills. Again, the passage into law of the IEA-sponsored Presidential Transition Act was also a commitment articulated on the 2008 debate platform.
Right.
Now, the appointment, just a few more lines. The appointment of several women to decision-making positions, including the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, the Commissioner for the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, and several other ministers and deputy ministers of state, is in fulfillment of the promise made at the IEA debates by the presidential candidate of the ruling party.
So then goes on to tell you some of the good parts or the advantages of having presidential debates, because as it stands now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking about Galamsey, for example, and I'm asking myself, the next government, who is going to do what? Who is saying what? What are they going to do differently about Galamsey?
In fact, Caleb, one of the reasons cited for, if you like, incumbents or candidates who believe that they have a commanding lead, one of the reasons they chicken out is that the crafting of the topics always come out of issues confronting the nation at the time of the debate.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it happens that way, the person running
doesn't look good on them.
Never looks good. So they always want to back out.
Yeah.
So if you have a situation where you have somebody running who dares a debate, that takes it to another level.
You
understand?
Actually.
Yeah, because if you are running, you have overseen the turning of our water from white to brown. From our standard water to Milo water.
So when you're asked, what are you going to say? But for you to have the confidence to be daring someone else to do it.
So I think it will be a very interesting one. I think it will be. And not to, honestly, I do not think that Joyce Bauer saying that she's not sure about doing a debate is an indication that John Mahama fears debates. I mean, it's not. I mean, we know who John Mahama is. Fearing debates shouldn't be something that should be in the same sentence as John Dramani
Completely
Mahama.
Not.
But it will give us, if you like, new energy for this election, because we get tired of negativity here, propaganda here. At times, it's good to hear from the horse's own mouth. So, Vice President Baumia, President Mahama, on one stage, telling us citizens what they want to do, and I think it's just fair.
It would be nice.
It's just fair.
Look, what would you?
But I don't think that the other parties should be involved in that. I honestly don't think so.
I think the format.
No, I'm not talking about AA format.
But CPB does some don't even have Flatbearer for now.
No. I'm just saying that. I think that the top two should always do it.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean the
maybe we should add Alan there because
the political parties with representation in Parliament.
Yes.
So
that's what
if you want to be considered
you must have a seat in Parliament.
If you don't have a seat,
okay. So meaning that if that's the rubric, then clearly some parties
everyone not sorted out
because
you know your level.
Until work hard and get there.
Then you know your level.
Yeah, I think they should. It should be like that because you don't want anybody to come coughing. You think
my grandfather here
and use the time to cough.
No way. Listen, I'll be happy to read your comments on this. Which issues would you love to hear the candidates debate on, if you want them to debate at all? Would you need a presidential debate to help you decide on your choice? If you do, let's hear you. 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Nathan, presidential debate.
I think it's important and very necessary, because you see it takes away. It puts the candidates one on their toes, and two, because it's a very controlled environment. You cannot lose your train, or you cannot lose yourself and go gung ho and almost, for a lack of better word, misbehave, quote unquote, because it's not like a campaign platform where you can grab a microphone, say all kinds of things to energize people, and then you walk out. No, a debate is more controlled, right? So I'm happy, and I'd love to see one. For me, we usually have moderators and all of that, and then they come with questions, and then they ask. There's a text message from Edmond in B Hills. The last part of his message says some questions to come from the audience as well. It's something I'd like to jump on. I'd love to see an aspect of the debate where the audience, who are not journalists or political people or whatever, ordinary people, if they can also get to pose their questions. Well, I wonder. I'm just thinking.
I think the assumption is that the audiences are generally, or the concerns of the audiences are generally represented
by the questions.
By journalists.
Okay.
And CSOs.
Okay.
And CSOs. So. Because how many people can you?
I get you. Maybe away from a debate, what I would want would be almost like that town hall, the citizen engagement type of thing. Yeah. But of course, the debate, in like some ways, the questions that CSOs and the media would ask would almost always reflect the thoughts and the feeling of the citizens. So I think a debate is important. Like I'm saying, it helps us get into the minds of the candidates. Yeah. Then we can properly hear them articulate their ideas. For some people, like we've established, they may have already made up their minds. The debates will not do a lot. Yeah. But for a lot of people, hearing those things will help them reaffirm or decide otherwise on voting for candidate A or B. And I think even for the wider international public, I think it is very brilliant and very important to let the world see that we are very interested in knowing what the candidates think about, what are their plans for the country. Finally, it takes away
because not everybody is going to read your manifesto.
Yes, that's true. Not everybody will read your manifesto. And even in Ghana, take a microphone around and ask people how many times they have read their favorite party's manifesto. Not a lot of people.
Not read. You've moved too far. Seen.
Even seen. Not a lot. So I believe that the debates they bring a lot of the things in the manifesto to life. Yeah. And then people can properly hear and listen and decide on what it is they want to do.
That would be refreshing. But Sky, on the point, just quickly, on the point that we should have the candidates participate in a debate on the basis of those who have seats in Parliament, what then becomes of those who are putting themselves out as independent candidates?
You see,
with alliances?
At a certain point, I think it's important that we should draw the line. I know there are those who will push back and say that would to them be an unfair and an unconstitutional approach to institutionalizing this thing. But look, the fact is there are political parties that go to sleep after elections. The only time they rise up again is where elections are around the corner, and you see them trying to jostle around pull a few resources together and want to be visible, and then they get into the political arena again. And then there are debates about whether they should be on the ballot, and then they get to sue the Electoral Commission, include us, why are you disqualifying us, and all of that. The Constitution of Ghana requires a certain presence around the country so as to establish visibility, and you should be engaged in a certain course of conduct so that we know that you are validly a part of, the democratic process in this country. But for some reason, these people go and sleep without disrespecting anybody. And then the only time you hear of them is when, elections are around the corner.
When EC calls the meeting that they are distributing the pickups.
Then they show up.
I don't think that is fair to the good people of this country. You would have expected that they will be part of policing the democratic process. I mean, which political parties have been critical of this administration in the last 8 years or so?
Right.
You have the NDC, the Dr. Ndum's party also
PPP.
has a PPP. Once in a while you hear from the CPP.
Sir.
Yeah, that's right. But so with apart from them, you've not had any other robust criticism like that and policing of the democratic process. So as a start, in my respectful view, without disrespecting the other political parties, I think that it is a valid case to be made that you need to have representation in Parliament going forward if you want to take part.
That's well established. That's well established. The other point,
the question I want to find out is that, so now, who should
moderate?
No, organize the debate.
That's a good question.
Well, the IEA has built a certain institutional capacity over the last 15 years. And although the NDC has had its own issues with the IEA, and some other political parties have had to have reason to raise concerns here and there, I think that they have fairly done a great job. But if we want to institutionalize it, and for that matter, take it away from what is seen as a private pair of hands, and then make it an institutional state-sponsored event for that matter, then perhaps the center, what National Commission for Civic Education,
NCCE,
it's a credible institution, I assume.
But that's good option. But I also think that the faculties of communication in our universities can form some kind of consortium to work on some of these things, because we have wonderful people,
brains, amazing people there. Yeah, like I was the point I was then going to make is that even with the manifestos of the various political parties, we all agree and say that, look, let's have a national development plan, let's run with that regardless which party is in office. But we all know that over the years, it's the manifestos that they promise to deliver that they work with. But even as we speak, we're in July, and most of the parties are yet to launch.
Most manifestos, at least from what I've observed in a while, most manifestos would be out, say, sometime in August.
By which time, how much time have we had to digest the ideas that
I don't know if I don't know the workings, or whether or not, as a rule, we can get parties to bring out their manifestos earlier. But it's a very tedious process. You are doing a lot of stakeholder consultation. You are trying to sample a lot of opinion to put into that document. So I don't know if ever we'll get to a time where manifestos can come out in good time for people to digest. Right? Sky, you get the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Because in August is when August will be manifesto season, where parties will launch their manifestos. I would have wanted a situation where those manifestos come out earlier, people digest, and then they can form a good pillar of a debate. So we are asking you for example, what you've done. If you are a government in power, what you've done so far, and then if you are a government in waiting, if you like, or somebody who wants to be elected, what do you plan to do to address challenges A, B, C, or D that we experience as a country? I mean, that's just my thinking. I don't know if
we can go about to fortify what you said. A brilliant, suggestion. I think, for instance, that if we make it a requirement that on a particular date on the electoral calendar, the parties taking part in the elections shall submit their manifestos or file the same with the Electoral Commission, say on the first day of August of the
the year of election.
Of the year of elections. That will be a way of insisting and ensuring that all the political parties taking part in the process.
Align. Yeah.
You understand? So on the 1st of August, the electoral commissioner will sit down, or the relevant officers will sit down, and the various political parties will come. This is my manifesto, blah, 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 blah. They present it to the EC. NDC will come and present its one. The NPP will present, blah, blah, blah. And then, so that the media then, those details are then shared with the media. You understand?
Yeah.
Instead of, sometimes they put it under the MP. They are waiting.
They say they copy each other or something like that.
I think it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So that on the 1st of August, for instance,
Yeah.
it is part of the requirement.
Yeah.
If we institutionalize these things, it will help the electoral process.
That's correct.
A number of messages have come through. We'll be reading them to you. But I've seen a statement that is coming from the camp of the running mate to the presidential candidate for the NPP, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. So I'll share that. Let me just read it for the listening of our listeners and ourselves, right? So it's on the letterhead of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, vice presidential candidate. The heading is, I did not mean to denigrate former President Kwame Nkrumah or any other president.
Oh, bless you.
My statement last Tuesday, 9th July in Kumasi, on the performance of President Akufo-Addo has elicited varied reactions. The statement, if I can rephrase, reflects... No, I'm going straight, right? The statement reflects my personal opinion about President Akufo-Addo's impact relative to other presidents we have had. I wish to emphasize that I never meant to disrespect our former president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, or any of our former heads of state, including my own grand uncle and mentor, Mr. John Ejekum Kufuor. I note the concerns raised after my statement. I apologize sincerely and regret any discomfort caused. Thank you. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, running mate to the NPP presidential candidate, July 12, 2024. Because
no, this is truly beautiful. This is truly beautiful. You see, we all get it wrong every now and then, and it's a great thing that he's shown statesmanship, has listened to varied opinions, concerns raised from within and also from without. These very informed comments have been made on this particular matter. I believe he's reflected deeply over the concerns that have been raised, and he's taking them on board, and he's issued a truly, courteous statement on the subject matter. It's great that he's coming at this time, and I think we should celebrate his candor in this particular statement, and I believe going forward this should put the matter to rest, in my respectful view.
Okay.
Kudos to him and the team around him.
But Sam, I mean, the day after the statement, I mean, you were sure that, look, he, following the backlash and all, he was going to, simmer down, and perhaps this would have come earlier. But the next day, then we saw him in the Western North region, where he actually...
Well, I think the next day, again, people... Okay, so let's look at this.
Yeah.
If we had not heard the first statement and we heard the second statement, I don't think people would have been upset.
Yeah.
And as people kept saying, maybe the substance of what he said could be a subject of debate. What everybody or most people had issue with is how he said it.
Yeah.
And so if on reflection the person notices that, well, I may have meant well to my party people, but the outcomes are wrong. The mature thing to do is what I believe he's done. Right. And for some of us who have known Napo, maybe not in politics, but outside of politics, at times you wonder whether it's the same person people are talking about.
Right.
To be honest, I mean, anybody that was in school with Napo will say the same thing I'm talking about.
Right.
I mean, I just knew as a quiet medical student, even when he was standing for Nook's president, people were shocked that is that about rich man picking, Yeah, they were the Charlie, the DBs of the time, you know, vacation ends today, tomorrow they go to Babylon, things like that. So they were, there's decent young man and things like that. So that's how we have known him. But politics is another platform. So I think what he's done is what is expected of somebody, especially if you want to occupy this kind of position. Indeed, if he had not done that, it would have been a weapon against him for a very long time.
Right.
And this is human. It's human to err, but it's maturity to admit that you have erred, so you can move on. So
Nice
I think
one.
it's good.
I like it. Some of your messages have come through, Nathan.
Yes, Edmund B. Hills, I don't know, it's Burma Hills. He says a debate will be good for some of us, especially on the areas of good education, health, water, agriculture, sports, jobs, roads, etc. These are the things that affect the Ghanaian on a daily basis. We don't want NDC, MPP moderators, and some questions to come from the audience as well. David Kofi Senanu Kulevome says, I don't think Mahama should fall for the debates being called by Baumia. He calls him empty without a vision, and now he wants to debate him. The tone for the debates is very disrespectful. This one says, having a presidential debate in Ghana serves as no purpose. No idea expressed will be implemented.
No, I think you just heard
there were ideas that were
details
implemented
provided
from the
and
debate.
Ideas
So
that came from the
George.
debate were subsequently implemented.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so George from Airport, he says we are better off not having a debate because the two parties are not fit for purpose. This one says it will be great for Citi FM to organize a presidential debate. Take up the challenge. Okay. Summons is here. We'll see. Sky, I think we've done some debates before.
Yeah, at least at the parliamentary level.
At the parliamentary level.
Yes,
so we don't know if we have the muscle to do presidential. But
we can. Yes, we can.
This one says maybe the suggestion by social media that they should individually debate with the general public on the issues: exchange rate, unemployment, price of kinky, petrol, wache, eggs, oil, electricity, water tariff, transport fares, haircuts, pensioners' savings and bonds, roads, free SHS, agri manufacturing, etc. Interesting. I don't know, but I think he may be talking about the Twitter Spaces. In Kenya, the youth met the president. Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah, just have a group of journalists one-on-one.
Not necessarily, but if
even
we
the
can
public.
public, if they can organize a Twitter Space,
We'll be
a
back.
good number, 500,000, 2,000, whatever.
The
and then the candidate is
not
on
their
there.
spokespersons.
On there, online, answering questions. I think it would be nice for them to
I
hear
love
from
it.
the citizenry.
Good morning,
Jay
team.
in Kofredia says, I don't need debate to decide. I've already decided.
Okay.
They say one thing and do different things when they get the power. This one says, Caleb, we need a debate. I, for one, do not need one to vote against the MPP. That agenda is set. But one will be great to remind us of how inconsistent the vice president has been in Rabna. This one says, how I would love a debate between the presidential candidates of the two major parties and vice presidential candidates. This must be done compulsorily every 4 years. A debate is a good test for the candidates' own comprehension of their manifestos, because very often these manifestos are put together by writers and experts from all sectors. However, the minor parties must be allowed to participate. Maybe they could hit the jackpot. Yakubu Ibn Chambers. And he says, did you hear what the vice president said about a debate some years back? He actually told former President Mahama to go debate market women, farmers, etc. So that one too has come up. But I think broadly, a lot of people, or from the messages we have read, people seem to lean more towards the idea of a debate. People would really love to hear candidates articulate their own thoughts on issues, and then answer questions on current happenings and answer questions on what they will do should they get elected into office. So I think a debate is a wonderful idea. Somebody mentioned social. That's a dimension that is possible these days with the fact that there is internet. Why not put the candidates on a space, get young people or ordinary citizens to ask them questions, and let's see what these candidates have got to tell us.
Okay, now we have some friends, neurosurgeon friends who will be joining us to have a conversation on pediatric neurosurgery in Ghana. So we'll take a very quick break. When we're back, we'll bring you that. But before we do that, Nathan has a very quick announcement.
Yes, you've closed from work, you're home, you're lying down, but the mattress is sagging beneath you. Let that not be your story. Get yourself latex foam, go to their showrooms and experience the difference for yourself. They've got great mattresses and furniture crafted with your ultimate relaxation in mind. Call them on 0302 231155 or 032208 or 008499 or visit them online at latexfoamghana.com. Latex Foam is your partner for life.
Selassie sent a quick message through and she says, please, Napo should go and sit down. It's just a PR gimmick. Okay. We'll go for a quick break. When we are back, we have our friends from the International Society of Pediatric Neurosurgeons joining us in the studio. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Are you a contractor, builder, or a proud homeowner with an eye for quality and security? Well, look no further than Yale. Yale is a trusted name in security for over 180 years. When it comes to securing your home or business, trust Yale. We make security simple, and we're right here in the heart of Accra, Ghana. Visit our stunning showroom on 11th Lane Street, Inosu, Accra, and discover a world of premium Yale products, including door hardware, handles, and door locks that will elevate the security and style of your space. Whether you're building from scratch or renovating, Yale has the perfect solution for you. Our products are known for their durability, innovation, and most importantly, your peace of mind. Visit us today and experience the Yale difference. Your security, our priority. Yale, locking in your peace of mind.
Escape to Pediatric Valley Resort, where flavors come alive as we live life. Join us every Friday evening for our barbecue dinner and enjoy the juiciest of meat that melts effortlessly on your palate. Weekends are amazing with local buffets, live band music, and local drinks. Don't miss our Sunday brunch. Our chef specials and pizzas take you on a sumptuous culinary journey with every bite. Be it breakfast, lunch, or dinner, we've got it all.
Imagine a one-stop shopping experience for all things made in Ghana, and this is Ghana Exhibition 2024. Get ready to explore the remarkable fair to showcase the rich diversity, talent, innovation, and mastery of made in Ghana products and services with the This is Ghana Exhibition 2024. Now, Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM invites you to immerse yourself in a vibrant showcase of authentic Ghanaian products and services in the biggest trade fair and exhibition for local SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing industries, homegrown businesses, and indigenous corporate bodies that Ghana has ever seen. We shall promote, we shall support, and patronize various Ghanaian products, solutions, and services that are redefining the views on indigenous products and their packaging across all sectors. The date, 31st of August and the 1st of September 2024. The time is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, and the venue is the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Call us now on 0205-973-973 for inquiries on how to participate. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2024 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by MTN, Cola Natural, Ghana National Gas Company, and Ghana Pay Mobile Money.
So what goes into building quality structures? I mean, literally, what goes into it? Wujaf, you don't want to be sitting here somewhere worrying whether or not you did a really good job. It's a very simple equation. If there's no diamond cement in the mix, massa, forget it. Don't start cry. Menye, diamond cement has been providing builders, block makers, and construction companies that peace of mind for years. Diamond cement is 42.5 R grade cement. Unbeatable quality made right here in Ghana. And because we have your pocket in mind, we provide 32.5 R grade so that everybody getting on. No long talk, Jack. If there's no diamond cement in the mix, don't start. Locate Diamond Cement Ghana Limited nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrade, and Buipe, or call 0244-313-368 or 0540-111-978 or 0202-021-175. Diamond Cement, still as hard as a diamond.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Before, let's jump into a big conversation with our friends from the International Society for Pediatric Neurosurgery. Dr. Teddy Totime is here with some amazing friends. Doc, good morning, welcome, good to see you again.
Good morning.
Doc, you're at Ridge, right?
No, so I'm in private practice now.
You're in private practice? Oh, yes. I didn't know this one.
So I run a neurosurgical service at Accra Medical Center.
Oh, wonderful. Nice.
Yes.
But you're here with some friends.
Yes.
And I see one thing runs through all of them. They are all professors.
Yes. I'm the only one out.
That's okay. We're getting there. So please, I want you to introduce your friends to us.
All right.
And tell us why you brought them here.
Okay, so I brought here Professor Jeffrey Blount.
Hello, Prof.
Who's from
Morning.
the University of Alabama.
Okay.
Birmingham. Right, and then I also brought Professor Leolin Padeachi.
Okay.
From the University of Pretoria.
Hi, Prof.
South Africa.
Good to see you.
And then Prof. James Johnston.
Right.
Who is also from the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Right, okay. Yes. So I know there is pediatrics, where doctors who take care of children.
Yes.
But this one I'm seeing pediatric neurosurgeons.
Exactly.
What's happening here?
So they're neurosurgeons who take care of children.
Okay.
Because I'll leave it to them to say, but basically we cannot look at as a child as a small adult.
Okay.
They're two different, and especially for neurosurgery, the problems of pediatric neurosurgery are very different from the problems of adult neurosurgery. And so this international society represents 500 pediatric neurosurgeons from around the world.
Wow.
And I play a dual role because I am on the faculty of neurosurgery for Ghana.
Okay.
So I'll be representing the faculty of neurosurgery for the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons.
Right.
And I'm also on the executive board of the International Society of Pediatric Neurosurgeons.
Oh, you're big man.
So
big man.
So we're here because we have what we call the ISPN course,
okay,
which is a didactic course mixed with very hands-on experience for neurosurgeons,
okay,
just basically to train them on how to treat neurosurgical problems in children.
Oh, wow.
And especially for Africa, half of Africa is under 18.
Right.
So basically we're a pediatric continent.
Right.
So we should have more pediatric neurosurgeons.
Actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. However, the single continent with the smallest number of pediatric neurosurgeons is Africa.
How many do we have in Ghana?
Well, in Ghana, fellowship-trained pediatric neurosurgeons are 3. Right.
The whole Ghana?
The whole Ghana.
Oh.
Yes. And there are 26 neurosurgeons in Ghana at the moment.
Wow.
Yes. So
but the
a lot of the pediatric neurosurgery is being done by the general neurosurgeons.
Oh, that's
so
serious.
The impact of this course is the fact that it alerts all of us to be better surgeons for children.
Right. Interesting. Let me come to Professor Jeffrey.
Yes.
Good. So the ISPN, tell me more about it.
As Teddy alluded, the ISPN is a blanket organization that covers across the globe everyone who's interested and committed to pediatric neurosurgery. And pediatric neurosurgery covers a broad variety of problems in children, structural problems, so things like tumors that grow, bad infections that involve the brain, congenital problems like spina bifida and things like that. Even we're branching out into things even like epilepsy and things like that. So it's an overarching institution that brings under its umbrella regional and national institutions like the Chinese Society or the Korean Society, South American societies. So it's an overarching institution that serves to organize and have courses like this and have meetings that bring together and further the field and support those who are doing it.
Prof, first time in Ghana, Professor
Padeachi.
Yes, Padeachi. Oh, that sounds Indian. Oh, I'm correct. Welcome to Ghana. Is this your first time in Ghana?
First time in Ghana.
Oh, right. So tell me more about this program, right, and why this course is very critical for us.
Yeah. So like Prof. Blount and Teddy said earlier, pediatric neurosurgery is a specific subset within neurosurgery. We treat things like was mentioned, brain tumors, hydrocephalus, and if left unchecked, these things cause big problems for the developing brain. Traditionally, unfortunately, like Teddy pointed out, general neurosurgeons would just treat these conditions because someone needed to do it. And even worse than that, in some spaces, it's pediatric surgeons or general surgeons who do it because there's just nobody else to do it. So what we're doing is highlighting the fact that actually this is an area that needs specialized training because the risk-benefit ratio is really tight. So we want to flag that.
So what's going to happen these 2 days? If I am in medical school, I come there. If I'm a practitioner, I come. What am I going to see, Professor James?
So we have so today, for example, we have a workshop that Dr. Padiachi is going to be running, looking at the use of ultrasound to facilitate certain types of neurosurgery to allow us to visualize during surgery and predict elevated intracranial pressure, for example. And then the remainder of the events will be a series of lectures and case presentations that are given by a wide variety of professors, both from Ghana and from other countries, to talk about specific topics in pediatric neurosurgery. And the effort is to spread awareness and a better understanding of some of these diagnoses, as well as best ways to treat them, and also the future of where our understanding of, for example, of brain tumors or vascular abnormalities are going.
By the time we're done with this program, what do we hope to achieve? What difference would we make?
So ultimately, we'd have increased the awareness and the expertise when it comes to looking at pediatric neurosurgical problems. You don't get often the ability to delve deep into these problems because of clinical load and always doing different things. So this is a special opportunity, first of all, for practicing neurosurgeons to refresh on why we do certain things for pediatric neurosurgical patients. It's also an introduction for residents in neurosurgery to look at it as a field that they could enter in, and to see that it is so essential for our environment. It's important for them. Then there are also the medical students who are looking at this and considering neurosurgery, and will be shown why neurosurgery is an important field to cover. Because let me tell you this, the top causes of death in Ghana now are related to neurosurgery.
Wow.
Right? For young people between 15 and 45, it's traumatic brain injury from road traffic accidents and hemorrhagic stroke.
Wow.
Those are the top killers. And for these two, you need neurosurgeons. So coming to a course like this sort of opens your eyes to the fact that, well, you look at it as some eclectic collection of people, but it's people who are just committed to doing something about the problems that we see. And of course, there are also nurses. This course has a specific role for nurses because we have a nursing neurosurgery course also going on, because they take care of these patients. They need to understand what they're doing. So there's a special 2 days also for nurses going alongside the one for doctors. And then finally, for pharmacists, for paramedics, for radiologists, people who deal with these problems and related issues, this is a good opportunity to understand.
So how can anyone be part of this?
Well, at the moment, it's oversubscribed. Right.
Wow.
But we have our opening ceremony today at 12 at the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. So, and that one is open to everyone. Just walk in, listen to some of the speeches, and if you want any information, we're there to give it to you.
Okay.
And whoever we can encourage to enter neurosurgery, please, we will, because they're just 26. We need more.
I like that. So, sorry, I've just lost my voice shortly. But for all of you professionals from across the world who've come to the studio, obviously for the participants who will be coming, there will be practitioners and people who want to start careers in that. But for the general public who have children or have relatives with children, what are some of the conditions that children, pediatric situations that when you notice, you should quickly see a neurosurgeon? If you have a child, you're observing some symptoms, you get my question. So from your practice, teach us something that we can take away from this interview.
I think the probably the most common overarching thing that we see in our practice, we see children with a variety of structural problems in the brain, right? So children that have the combination of headache that's persisting over time, that's progressing, or that's profoundly severe, the 3 Ps, persisting, progressing, or profound. Okay, that, especially if it's associated with any kind of vomiting, headache with vomiting, and any sort of clouding of how awake or alert the child is, that can be a clue to any number of things that we would take care of. So I would alert every parent and every listener who observes a child, that combination of headaches occur, right? That's a reality. They're common. But if they're persisting, if they're progressing, or they're profoundly severe, okay, then they need to get
Quickly.
in and get seen, especially if there's vomiting, because that suggests brain. It's not the tummy, it's not the stomach.
I see.
If they've got the bad headache and the vomiting together.
Prof, one thing I do with my nephews a lot, when I pick them up, I throw them and all that, I play with them and all. I'm told it's not a good thing. Is that true?
Yeah, so again, degrees of normality is an issue. Throwing kids up, has become something that's probably been frowned on a little more, because kids developed, or not just kids, but adults as well, develop in its severest form, a sort of diffuse axonal type injury where there's a shearing. That's if the brain is shaken quite profoundly.
Wow.
There are several studies that shows these minor traumatic injuries over time can't be good for you.
Oh.
So my feeling, and it would be interesting to hear what the others say, is I wouldn't do that to my kid just because I don't know. The brain is a soft, spongy type of material. You don't want it slammed against. So you could argue trampolines and all of those sorts of things are.
Yeah.
You could have
So what else can I do with them, man? What else can I do? From James. So one takeaway from you that should give parents, a red flag that look, you need to see pediatric neurosurgeon as soon as possible. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think also if you, in little babies whose head is growing abnormally, very enlarged heads, sometimes, in babies, sometimes that can be a sign of buildup of fluid in the brain. And, oftentimes parents can watch that over time and think that's just part of their normal growth, but especially if the head is growing abnormally quickly or very, very large, the baby needs to be seen by a doctor.
Wow, that's very important. Prof. Dr. Thedi, I'll wrap up with you on this one. Why it's important that we all need to pay attention to pediatric neurology. I mean, from the government, stakeholders, and everyday people, all of us who have nieces or children and all of that. What should we do? Why should we take this seriously?
So Ghana is a young country. I mean, we have a lot of women who are of childbearing age. We're going to have a lot of children. And a lot of the conditions that happen neurosurgically are actually going to affect them as they grow. So if there's anything that we can do to either treat or prevent neurosurgical conditions in children, then we actually protect the future. So the reason why, as a country, we must invest into pediatric neurosurgery is that if we really want people who are cognitively aware, capable of carrying this country forward, then we should take care of the people who can treat them if problems arise. At the moment, spina bifida, for example, is a big thing.
What's that?
Spina bifida is when they're born with the spinal cord not well developed.
Wow.
And so it comes out as an opening at the back. So the spinal cord is basically exposed, right? Now, in countries where they've been able to fortify their food with folic acid, it's actually almost preventable.
Okay.
Right? Now, Prof. Blount here has led an advocacy group that has made this a child rights issue. So basically now, if you have signed the convention, I'll leave that to him to say something slow, because it is key that we advocate for fortifying our food with folic acid.
Our time is up, but I'll give Prof. Blount the very final word on this one, that we can say goodbye.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to this. This is a preventable birth defect that impacts thousands and thousands of children. It can be prevented by a simple nutritional strategy that gets a B vitamin into the mother's diet at a normal level. We're not talking about very high levels, just at a normal level. Foodstuffs such as grain, corn, and maybe even salt may be good vehicles. And it makes a difference between thousands of children in Ghana that simply won't be affected with this crippling, devastating disease. It's cheap. It's effective. It's been instituted by 65 countries around the world, and none have gone back after they've done it. It's highly cost effective, and it can save much suffering and much death here in Ghana and around the rest of the world.
Wonderful. So finally, it's happening today. It's starting today.
Yes, tomorrow
venue is
and
the
Sunday.
Yes, and the venue is the.
So today we have opening ceremony at
Yeah.
the Ghana College, and then we have the workshop at the Ghana College.
Fantastic.
Tomorrow we're going to Accra Medical Center.
Wonderful.
Where we have a whole day of lectures,
Mm.
and then on Sunday we come back to the Ghana College, where we have a whole day of lectures.
Nice.
And then of course dinner in the evening.
Excellent. Doug, Prof, thank you for coming.
Thank you very
It's
much.
been really good
Thank you very
having you.
much. I appreciate
Eye-opening
it.
conversation. Thank you so much, and have a fruitful session.
Thank you, sir.
Great. And it's top of the hour. That's how we end today's show. Thank you for being a part of it. Adjoa Nkrumah Domina is coming soon with the news at 10. Adjoa Nkrumah Domina, good morning to you.
Good morning, Caleb.
How are you today?
Great.
Excellent. What's in the news?
Coming up, NPP